Looks like it's time, so let's go. Hello, hello, hello. I am, before we get to dice making, I'm just unmolding my molds. I guess that's accurate. I might not do all of them, so we can get started on other stuff, but you can see my, my very high-tech mold making process here of, building little casings out of Legos to put my silicone in. Part of the reason that I do want to unmold these, though, is so I have two different sets of dice that I really want to make tonight. And really I can make up to like 3 at a time, 3 sets. That's kind of the number that I can work within like the time frame. Ugh, my ear's doing a weird thing. Yeah, my ear's acting really weird. It's I can usually make about 3 in the time frame that I have with the resin, and also like the amount of resin that I usually do at a time, because I usually do, you know, about 1 of these of resin, and that's, you know, a little bit more than a set of dice, but it's about 3 sets of dice. So I'm debating whether I want to do a 3rd set of dice, or if I want to try and make some other little things. I've made over time all of these little like crystal molds. Do I have any of the crystals over here? Yeah, here. I can show you. This has been cut in half, which is what I will be doing with them, but just little, flip that over so you can actually see the crystal part. Oops. Helps if I hold steady so you can see. Yeah, see little crystal shapes from actual like little crystals. And I want to do like geode dice at some point. I tried it once before and ran into a little bit of an issue because the like crystal sort of inserts that I made were just a little bit too big, and so they pushed on the outside of the mold and kind of distorted the dice a little bit. And like I could sand them down and everything, but it made the numbers all funky. I still have that set. I've just kept that set myself. It's still usable, but the numbers don't necessarily look all correct. But, you know, I want to try it again, because there's a couple things I would do differently this time. So I'm debating whether I want to make a 3rd set of dice, or if I want to try and make a whole bunch of little crystals. And I don't know, maybe some other stuff. Maybe try and make some necklaces of some sort. Some little pieces of jewelry. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Oh, hello! Hi, little Ashy. How are you doing? I'm just cleaning up some molds before we actually get to the dice making part. I just pulled these out. It has been a while. What are you up to? I'd say this evening, but I have no idea what time it is for you. I still think about streaming. I've been good. I've been good. My ear's acting all funky right now. I don't know why, but I don't know. It's been a bit weird lately. Maybe it's because it's windy out or something. But I always enjoy streaming, so it's nice to sit down and do this. And I do have plans for the 2 sets of dice for tonight, and I can go over those in just a minute, but I want to get this mold at least so I can do little crystals if I decide to do that instead of a 3rd set of dice. You've been trying to stream yourself, deal with bad stuff. Oh, I'm sorry to hear you've been having a rough time. Yeah, it's no fun. What sort of stuff have you been trying to stream? I know there's all sorts of different things. Oh, you celebrated a 1-year anniversary of what? Sorry, I guess anniversary can mean lots of things. I don't know. Oh, boyfriend. Okay. I was like, of marriage? Of streaming? Oh, with your boyfriend. Oh, okay. 1 year anniversary. Okay. That's like, because if we're going like French, you know, anniversary can mean birthday. So, but congratulations. That's very exciting. Hope things are doing well for you both. I was having a conversation with someone. This is kind of going off of the autocorrect thing, not the anniversary thing. I was having a conversation with someone earlier today, and it wasn't autocorrect, but that it was that thing that happens every once in a while where you like send a message on some sort of messenger, and it says that it doesn't send, so you type the whole thing again, and then you send that, and it sends both of them. So it's like you said the exact same thing twice, and they were just like, seriously? Like, I know, yeah, they were like, oh, whoops, and I'm like, I know exactly what just happened, because that happens to me all the time. Oh, okay, streaming video games, mostly like Dead by Daylight, Slime Rancher, and Skyrim. Oh, cool. That's really cool. The only game that I've streamed at all is Minecraft. And I can't say that it's been, I don't know, I don't play a lot of video games. I like watching other people play video games, but I don't know. I never feel like I have the time, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I just don't make enough time for me to actually, like, do my own stuff. I probably should make more time to, like, relax and things, but, because, you know, even at the moment, since I'm making my own schedule and trying to start my own business and stuff, I have days off, but I don't really take days off. Like, I still end up working on the days that I've given myself Sunday and Thursday as my days off, but I usually still end up working those days in one way or another. Like, I'm still responding to messages people have sent me, sanding or inking dice, like... Oops! Oh, dear. Oh, no. Ah, yes, my favorite game. Oh, dear. Yeah, my autocorrect does a couple of weird things. Like, there's certain words that are just common words, like roses. If I try to type the word roses, it tries to make it the name Rose and apostrophe S, like it tries to capitalize it. It's just weird what it wants to, like, autocorrect. There's just certain, like, words that it tries to correct to names, even though they're just common words. It's like, why? Why is it doing this? But yeah, that is always the fun one when it tries to autocorrect to something that's maybe not as savory in a very innocent, otherwise innocent context. It's just like, why? Why are you doing this to me, autocorrect? What did I ever do to you? But probably good that you caught it. Alright. I'm almost done with this. And I don't need to unmold these other ones tonight. I can do that later. Oh, you have it all turned off now because it got too annoying. I probably should just turn mine off, but... Is that it? Did I get everything? I think so. Trying to make sure there's nothing in this corner here because it looks like there's... But I think maybe it's just because it extends that way a little bit. Alright. What I was saying is that I rearranged my schedule a little bit recently. So that I'm... Oh, that's true too. I do also spell things purposefully wrong depending on what I'm saying, and then it tries to autocorrect it. I tend to, like, add a lot of extra letters to certain things to emphasize them. Like, no! You know, that sort of thing. And it's always very unhappy with me. Although at this point I've done it enough that sometimes my phone, like, realizes that it's a word now. Let me set these off to the side. We'll unmold that one. Oops, let me put these rocks over to the side. And here's the things that were in the mold that I just took off a whole bunch of little crystals and stuff. Let's throw these over here. Alright. But yes, I have a few molds here now of like these crystal shapes because I want to make geodice. It's something that I've been wanting to do and I've been like trying to do for a while now. I want to get back into, let's get that out of the way. I want to get back into making like sets of dice that are kind of like diorama-like. It's what I originally wanted to do when it comes to dice. Let's make like little dioramas and stuff, which is what I spent a bit of yesterday and the day before doing, was starting to make polymer clay things for a few sets. So you know, you can expect some mountain dice soon. Not super soon, but you know, soon in the context of a couple months. That's kind of, I guess that's kind of how things work to a certain extent. With what I do, because it takes long enough to make a set of dice. And then usually, you know, I have some dice that are already made that just aren't sanded yet. Okay, so let me look through my molds here. I have some molds of just random things, because, you know, I'd have a little bit of extra silicone, and I didn't have any other dice that I needed to make molds of, so I've just made molds of other random things. Let me see what I got. So that I can get things set to the side for some crystals. This has some crystals, but they're going to be a little bit too big, so we're going to set that off to the side. This one has some seashells and an anchor sort of shape that I don't know if it would work or not. Yep. None of these. I have a couple that have keys. Those are kind of fun to make, just because it... Oh! Thanks for hosting. That's very nice. I should really figure out, like, hosting and rating and that sort of stuff. Like, I feel like it would be polite of me to actually, like, host people and raid people and stuff. It's just that I have like no idea who to do that for or to. I should just figure that out at some point. Okay. So I've got some molds here that have the crystal shapes in them. We're gonna make a bunch of crystals. I don't think that's gonna be a ton of resin though. So a full set of dice is about 30 milliliters. Let me start pulling out some molds. A full set of dice. Oh yeah, feel free to send a link to it. Feel free to send a link in the chat. Or just DM me with it. I do also have a Discord. If you're ever interested in chatting about arts and crafts or seeing what I'm working on off of stream. Or D&D. What do we talk about? Yeah, we talk about, you know, dice, D&D, art that people are working on. And you're welcome to promote your streams and stuff there too. D8, D64. And I think I want these ones. Okay, so I have two different like styles of molds. I have ones with the highest number at the top and ones with the highest number at the bottom. And I use different ones for different things depending. These ones, just like here. And that's D8, okay. To make sure I get all the ones I need. And the ones that I'm going to be doing today, one of them I want the highest number up, I think, and one of them I want the highest number down. And I'll explain that to you in just a second why. Let me just make sure I have everything? Okay, I have everything. This one I want the highest numbers up because I want to do something kind of like this. This was just kind of I poured all of the extra resin and stuff into a mold. But I really like how with like the darker colors and the opaque colors, we'll see if it'll show up. It never likes to focus on things super close. Come on. It's also very hard for me to see because I'm literally putting my hands right in front of the camera. Oh, okay, cool. Perfect. That's a great spot for it. There we go. You can kind of see how like things kind of like came up all kind of cloud-like-ish. And so I want to do something with this because this is just a single die. So I want to do something kind of like that. Oh, thank you. And so for that, I want the highest numbers up because I want you to see all of that kind of strange cloudiness when the highest number's up. So that's going to be these ones with the high number on the top. And then the other set that I want to make, I want to recreate. Oh, I didn't actually bring my phone down. That's fine. I want to recreate a set that I've made in the past. I would normally show you a picture on my phone, but I didn't actually bring my phone downstairs. It's okay. It's basically just going to be like a bright bold red, a bright bold yellow, and a bright bold blue all together. But I did also get, I didn't have a good green color, like I have like alcohol inks and I have resin pigments, and they're similar but they're different. This is all the colors and pigments and stuff that I have. I didn't have a good like translucent green. Like I guess I kind of have like a fluorescent-ish green. You know, this is supposed to be green. It's kind of a teal color, and the green quote unquote that I originally got with like a set of alcohol inks is a lovely blue color. So I did actually order. I went ahead and ordered some green, like a 3-pack of different greens of alcohol inks, and they're all green. So I do want to do something, I think, with at least one of these. I'm kind of thinking of maybe doing like the green over here with like white for the kind of cloudy one. I want something that's kind of dark. I could also mix that. Why is my elbow itchy? I could also mix that with black too and do like a really, really dark green, which is also a thought. I'll have to think on that, but I do also I think want the white because I like the white in there. But this one has like a dark blue, a purple, a white, and a clear with some glitter in it. I could do more layers too. So I could do like a black and then maybe I'll do like a black and then like the green and then the white. But let's do like an opaque black, I think. So we're going to do like an opaque black and then like the dark green and then the white and then the clear on top. And I kind of like the clear. This one has a little bit of glitter in it. I think something like that is pretty. So let me... Oh, the dye reminds me of a moonlit night sky. Ooh. Yeah. That's pretty. But I want to use my green. Maybe I'll have to do it again in these colors because I do really like these colors. I just use these colors a lot. Like I use a lot of purple and blue. So I want to try out the new green that I have. And we're going to be using the green again on Saturday. I have a commission set that's going to be using one of these greens. Probably this one or this one. But I won't mess around with them because I just got them. So I think we'll do a black and then this green and then the white and then I think a clear with some sort of glitter in it. Maybe the same glitter as what's in this. This one has kind of a subtle... Yeah, I think I'm going to use the same glitter as what's in this. I have, it's kind of like an iridescent, kind of clearish glitter. This one actually you can see better when it's blurry. Just a second. because you can see all those colors. But we're gonna do a little bit of that in the clear. We're in the clear. This set, I will see if the person that got them actually hangs out in chat fairly often, so we'll see if they show up. But it was basically just these three colors all put into the mold in kind of like their own little corners, and then they mix together a little bit and give you like all of the colors of the rainbow. I think these are the ones I used. Yeah, I'm pretty sure these are the ones I used. So I'm gonna do that as well. And then the last thing, I guess the real question here is, I want to do the crystals, and we're gonna do a little bit of prep on some of those. But do I want to do any other set of dice? I'm trying to figure out how much resin I'll need and stuff too, because like I said, each set of dice takes about 30 milliliters, so this is 60 right here. And really kind of the next step up from 60 is 80. Because I have to do even amounts, and my container is in groups of 10. I use 2-part resin, so I have to go in increments of 20 milliliters. Unless I'm doing something very, very small, in which case, you know, I can go in increments of like 5. But, or actually increments of 10 there, probably. Do I want to try and do another set of dice? Or do I want to try and do some necklaces? What do I got here? I need to make some more mushrooms, it looks like, in order to make some more necklaces. I have some bees. I'll try putting some bees in some necklaces. This is my random polymer clay things that I've made and other such nonsense. And also a container full of bees. And I have some like mushrooms here that thanks. Let's see, Kit Kat. Yes, this is real bees. If you don't like bugs, you probably don't want to look at this, but I'll show you the bees. I could do something with I'll show you the iridescent stuff in just a second. Yeah, it's literally just a container of bees. I needed them for a commission, and it was, if I don't find them. He doesn't want to focus on them. But yes, it is real bees. And this was the smallest amount that the place that I got them from had. I got them by weight. I had no idea how many bees it would be, and I ended up with the Tupperware container of them. Alright, yeah, so the iridescent ones that I posted in Discord are like these ones. I'm assuming these are the ones you mean that have like they're all iridescent. I really like this iridescent stuff. It's just it's this right here. It doesn't really show up on camera as much, but it's very, very rainbowy. And I might need to get more of it because they ended up so pretty. With little galaxies. Oh, I should figure out a new galaxy dice design. I do have 3 sets of galaxy dice that are going to be added to the shop again sometime soon. Yeah, we could do something with some iridescent something. I'm just debating. I think here's a second. So here's the thing. Here's 60 milliliters. We're gonna want a little extra. We're gonna go up to 80 milliliters at least, which means we would have about 20 milliliters of extra. I want to use some of it in these to make little crystals. I don't know how much that'll take. Let me look at one of these containers. Maybe like 10. Maybe it'd take like half of it. but then I still have like 10 extra. I don't know what I'm going to be doing with that. Okay, just a second. I have an idea. I have an idea of what we can do with the 10 extra milliliters. I've been putting off using these just because they don't work great, but let's just do it. I have some cheap like keycap molds. Let's just try these out again. The problem with these is that there's nothing to keep the lids lined up with the bases, which means that, yeah, see, it's not even lined up properly now. There's nothing to keep the like connector part here in the right spot, which is just very annoying. And it means that they end up not correct. Yeah. I want to make my own molds. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna make my own random things that I want to make instead. With that, we have some extra stuff. So we'll do 80 milliliters. We'll do the 2 sets of dice, and then we'll do 80 milliliters and do all of our little crystals as well. For the little crystals, so one of the issues that I ran into when I was making these last time, because I did make some little crystals, cut them in half, made like little inserts that looked like little geodes and put them in the dice. One of the issues that I mentioned having was that they were a little bit too big and kind of pushed into the sides of the mold and warped the dice, which I can sand, but which made the numbers somewhat illegible, which is why they ended up in my dice box and ended up not in the shop. The other issue that I ran into is that using translucent resin, making like an object out of a resin that's like partially translucent, at least in the purple that I used, and then putting it into clear resin, you completely lose the definition of the object. So I want something that is at least semi-opaque, just so that it's going to show up. I think I do still want to stick with purples for this. Like, should I do like a light purple? See, I was hoping to do like a clear purple because I was thinking like amethyst geodes. But I could go for like a pastel sort of purple and whites and like black and stuff. One of the things that I did last time that I did actually like is I dusted some of the molds with some pigments first. Let me find the ones I'm looking for. There. I feel like that kind of added to it. So we're gonna do that again. I have a multichrome here that's purple and it kind of shifts to like orange-ish. And then I have an interference violet that these will turn up. If I do black behind it, it'll look purple. If I do white behind it, it'll look white, but then kind of like shift to a purple. And then this is just a pearly white. And then have, oh, you know what I could do? I could do also some purple mica, which would be opaque. So let's do that maybe. I want to do maybe, let's do, you know, a little bit of variation. I'm going to dust some of the molds with the different colors, and then we'll probably mix up a couple of different colors to pour into them too. You know, maybe it might look better. I can get away with it being pretty deep so it doesn't lose itself. That's a good point. That's a good point. You make a fair argument. This one might be a little bit too big. So part of the reason that I feel more confident doing it this time too is that I do have jumbo dice molds on the way. Not jumbo dice molds. I have jumbo dice masters on the way. This stuff makes a mess. It's beautiful, but it makes a mess. Let's see if I can show you the, yeah, you can kind of see the color shift a little bit. There you go. Yeah, you can see the color shift. It kind of goes purple to, yeah, I might have to get more of these at some point. They're kind of a pain to work with a little bit because it's just so fine, but they just look so pretty. I'm just going to try and brush it onto the inside of the mold here because it'll look really cool on the little crystals as well, even if it's not completely covered. I'm just going to kind of lightly dust it. You know, if I wanted it to be completely covered, I could, but it's not really what I'm going for. I just want it to be all kind of crystally, shimmery. Alright. What was I talking about? I was talking about something. I don't remember what it was. I'm missing in the corner in here. Let's see if I can get some into the kind of point. That's a little bit better, I think. Kind of got into the point there. Get to the point. I don't remember what I was just talking about, though. Don't know. I don't remember. I was saying something or other. I don't have the best memory. Was it something about pigments? Don't remember. Oh well. That's okay. Oops, I can't laugh too hard. It blows the stuff around. Alright, let's do another couple with this sort of multi-chrome powder. Flakes, kind of multi-chrome flakes, I guess. It's not really a powder. It's so like fine that if I get this near it, it's kind of static charged, and it kind of sends it everywhere. It just makes a mess. But well, I'm gonna try and get that in there, get it all even. I mean, I was saying before that I do want to start making more like diorama sort of dice again. There's a hair there. Ah. And I do have plans. I do have plans for that. Because part of it is just like, I want my dice to be unique, sort of. And I realize that they are, just because I've made them. Like, you know, I can copy another person's dice. That sounds bad. But like, even if someone was to give me a picture and say, hey, I want dice like this, they would end up somewhat different, you know, even using the same techniques and everything, just because, you know, I'd be using maybe a different resin, I'd have added a slightly different point, you know, it would end up unique. But I want to make something that's like, I don't know, you'd be able to tell that it was something that I made. So I want to get back into making some more, I don't know, more, not high tech. What's the word I'm looking for? Complex. I guess complex is the word I'm looking for. Some more complex designs. Also, those are the ones that are the most fun for me. They take more work, obviously. You know, this has a lot more steps to it than these, like just making these. You know, I mix up 3 colors and put them in the molds, and ta-da, there's the dice, but I just need to take the time to actually like sit down and plan things, which is something that like I have to actively think about doing. I am not great at just slowing down and planning things out. That's why I write it into my calendar. Oh, you're trying to do. Oh, you're just using a mouse right now, so your art is limited. I think that's unfortunate. Do you do any other kind of art besides digital? Yeah, this stuff gets everywhere. It's just little flakes of it all over the place. I tried doing digital art on Saturday. Yes, on Saturday. It's Wednesday. Oh gosh. Oh, see, I have not really done much sewing, but I also loved doing that as a kid. I was the kind of person that made my own paper dolls because I loved doing that sort of stuff. But that's very cool. Still love it editing others. Oh, okay. There's there's amazing things that can be done with editing. That's editing is one of those skills. I'm thinking video editing now. Sorry, not photo editing, but it's one of those things where it also requires sitting down and oh, come on. This stuff is a mess. You know, it requires sitting down and taking the time to actually like focus. Oh, you've never sewed, you just draw. Oh, okay. Yes, I loved doing that when I was younger too. And I do have a sewing machine, and I have finally cleared out a spot for it, and I need to actually set it up. That's one of those things that I need to actually make the time for. We're back to that. Okay, I am sick of this stuff getting all over the place, so I'm gonna close it up because it's making a mess. It's making a mess. Get out of here. Stop making a mess. My workspace is all purple and glittery now. You had a teacher ask you to make her a mermaid wedding dress before? Ooh, that's cool. That's really, like, that's fun. Like, mermaid themed or like mermaid style of dress? Because I think that is also like like a certain way that it can flare towards the bottom. Hey, as long as she loved it, that's the important part. There's definitely dice that I've made where I'm just like, this isn't really my favorite. But I don't usually tell people because I know that just because it's not my favorite, because, you know, I have certain, I have certain tastes, I guess. You know, I have certain things that I like that, you know, maybe other people don't like too. And other people are just like, oh, this is great about something that I'm just like, it's not really my favorite, but I'm glad that someone else can appreciate it. Let's start doing some of this, I think. So this is the interference violet. That is, ooh, let's not knock that over either. So it's white, but it like kind of shines purple. And if it has black behind it, it will show up as purple. I'm just going to do a little bit of this. I'm going to get the random brush hair out of here, because we don't need that in there. This brush has been put through the wringer. I've shoved it into so many different molds. Okay. But it's starting to shed bristles just because I've used it so roughly. You know, be nice to your paint brushes. Mermaid style, but also mermaid theme. Ah, okay. That makes sense. So I'm just going to do the rest of the things on here. A little bit of this purple. Alright. I think that's probably good. Probably don't need a lot of that. Oops, I put this in the wrong spot. No wonder it's confusing. My stuff is getting in the way of other stuff. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Just be like that. Okay. All of my things are running into each other. Alright. this is just a plain pearly white. Put a little bit of that in here. I think we're probably just going to do the single crystal in the, what is that? There's like a random piece of resin in there. Okay, get out of there. I should probably clean my molds better than I do. Keep them cleaner. I don't know if I want to do any white crystals or not. I think I mostly want to go like blacks and dark purples. Because I do have a couple of white ones, and I just didn't like how they looked with the other colors. Yeah, so I think we'll... Oh, how's that going for you? I don't usually like talking about weight loss. Just FYI, but hopefully it's going well for you. Oh no, you wouldn't know that. Okay, yeah. Hopefully it's working for you how you want it to work for you. Let's get some, these little ones I think. This. Oh good, I'm glad. I'm glad that you are like making changes that you're happy with. That's, to be fair, that's part of the reason I don't really like talking about weight loss, is because the only time that I really lost a lot of weight is when I got super depressed and stopped eating enough. So, just like, don't really like talking about it all that much, but if it's what is right for you, then I'm glad. I probably should eat more now. I honestly just forget at this point. Like, I get caught up in other things. It's just not the healthiest mindset. Not a great way to live. Should really, eat food. And I do like food, but I just forget. I think I blame ADHD. I'm gonna blame that on that. Alright, I think that's probably enough of those. Oh, this one, no. Let's maybe try dusting in a little bit of this purple and see how it looks. I don't know how this purple will look. But I'm gonna leave some of them just blank too, because I think we'll probably put some... Sorry, I'm just thinking now of the colors that I want to do. I think I want to do like black, like an opaque black maybe. This purple, and then like a really dark purple. How do I want to do a really dark purple? Yeah, alright. I don't know what that means, but yeah. People tend to go one way or another. Have you been doing anything for fun recently? I know you said that you've been streaming and stuff. Or been trying to stream. Oh. Which, I mean, I find fun. To be fair, I use streaming as an excuse a little bit. Like, I do use it as a way to, like, keep me on track for actually making stuff for a shop. I do also use it as an excuse to, like, work on projects that I've been wanting to work on and just haven't gotten around to yet. And maybe I should do some more of those soon. Work on, like, go back and do some more embroidery. on the bow tie and vest that I want to embroider. Maybe, I don't know, I'm almost done with the bird painting, which, you know, I don't know if I'll finish that on stream just because I'm so close to being done with it. If you haven't seen that, I can pull it out in just a second. Show you the bird painting. You've been sick because you were missing, oh, yuck. We got them today, so you'll start streaming again tomorrow. But mostly video games. Oh, okay. Well, to be fair, that's the other thing that I've gotten into recently is Minecraft. So I've been playing that. I should actually play some more of that at some point. I'm on like a very small server with some friends. We're planning on kind of starting up a new server together once like not the next update, but the update after that. The next update got split up, and then anyways, around Christmas, we're planning on starting up a server together. I think this purple might be good, actually. I like this purple. It's all nice and shiny. I think it'll add a good opaqueness. Video games and art. It's Java. My brother's played it for years. He's been playing since like the beta. And I just got it recently, but I wanted to be able to play with him, so I got the version that he had. But I've been having a lot of fun. I didn't cause like I've seen him play it for years. Like I've always seen the stuff that he builds, cause he builds cool stuff. And he's one of the people that's on the small server with, you know, some friends. It started out with just him and my brother and I and another friend. And now we've added a couple of like family friends that he used to play with all the time. My brother did, and like it's slowly growing a little bit, but it's just kind of, you know, just kind of close friends and stuff. But I should hop on there at some point because I need to build a thing. It started out with 3 of us, my brother and another friend and I, and then a couple of the folks that we had reached out to about starting sometime in like let's just this one because I'm liking this purple that we had reached out to about starting in like after the next update joined as well, and one of them started building a big base, and so my brother went and started building like a giant infestation of something, some sort of space alien creature coming up out of the ground sort of thing outside of their base, and the plan is for me to go in and build some sort of research station outside of that, but I need to get a whole bunch of materials for it. Okay, I think that one's good. That one's all dusted, done and dusted. Wow, I'm getting to use all of the phrases. Okay, I think that's probably good. I do actually want this out, so let me just get everything figured out here. So I'm gonna want that. I'm gonna want this, and I'm gonna want like a dark purple. How do I want to do the dark purple? The problem is getting a dark purple that's not translucent, because all of my pigments are pretty translucent. And also not a mica. Like I could try and use this. I don't use this purple a lot because it's purple, but it has kind of like a brown undertone to it. It's a little bit weird. I don't know if I don't think I have an example here of it, but once the resin has cured, it's purple, but then at certain angles it looks kind of brownish. But I feel like we could use this as a background for some of these other ones, and it might look kind of nice because it's nice and dark, but again, it is still translucent. Alternatively, I could try using the bare spit of this opaque black with some of the translucent purple and see if I can get it a little bit more opaque. Oh man, there's so much resin on the outside of this bottle. And also, actually, you know, I could make a little bit of translucent, and if I put it in the ones that have the mica powder and stuff, I think it'll end up looking just fine. So we're gonna do our mica powder. We're gonna try doing a purple, translucent purple with the opaque stuff on the outside, and then we're gonna do an opaque black. So we've got those all figured out. I do actually have one more thing I want to do before we actually get to resin. I made a set of dice recently. Actually, I think they're over here. I can show you. Let me grab the one that I'm kind of copying. It's over here somewhere. Oh, there it is. All right, just a second. Let me wipe this off. It has all sorts of polish and stuff on it, but I made a set of dice, and one of them has a mountain in it with a little bit of like fog. Let's see if it'll, oh, there we go. Looks like you can see it. A mountain in it with a little bit of fog. And I want to make a necklace for my grandma. Well, to be fair, she asked for a necklace like this. And so I do have another little mountain here. And I have some more mountains that I've made out of clay now, and then I still need to cure them or so that they harden and stuff. But I'm planning on making some more mountain dice because I feel like it turned out really cute. So we're gonna get this one ready to put into this little sphere mold that I already put like a base layer on, and make a little necklace for my grandma. And I want a little bit of these two kinds of moss. That's what I used on this other thing. I think it turned out well. And then what did I use? I think I used just a little bit of glue. I feel like it might seem a little bit weird that I just use Elmer's glue for various resin. No, I didn't use glue. I didn't use glue, I used UV resin, that's what it was. That would be much better. Oh, add a little bit pink, that'd be, oh, that's a good thought. Look at that. I might have to try that. Let me grab down UV resin. See, that would add a little bit more color, that's a good idea. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. To be fair, the other dice in that set, so only one of them has a mountain. The other dice in that set have kind of purplish flowers in them. But that would be cute with a little bit of pink, I think. I don't think I'll do it on this one, but I did make some extra mountains, so I might try that first and see which I like better. So I'm pulling out some UV resin here. Because I'm going to try attach a little bit of moss just around the bottom here of the mountain to kind of blend it in a little bit with the base. So we're going to do that. There's lots of little like setup things when it comes to making resin. Well, I guess it depends on what resin stuff you're doing, but I always end up with a lot of little setup things. Dust in the molds with pigment. Come on. Adding a little bit of moss here. A little bit more moss there. Okay. Add a little bit of resin on the end of these. So, this is my fancy UV resin tools, which is a couple of straight pins that I just used to add a small amount of UV resin. If I tried to add it out of the bottle, it would be way too much. But this way I can get just a little tiny drop of it. I'm going to start smearing that around the edge of the mountain here. I'm not going to go all the way around, just the one side for now. I'm going to start adding the barest amount of little moss. And again, I do not want very much because I just want this to kind of blend in to the base. And we're going to add a little bit more moss inside the sphere as well to kind of coat things. And I do have a second kind of moss that I'll be adding as well. I have two kinds. This is like, I think it's like called reindeer moss or something. Kind of looks like coral in a strange way. Sorry, I'm going quiet for a second because I'm trying to focus on something so small and precise. So small and precise. Trying not to get it on the bottom there too. Alright, and it doesn't have to be perfectly filled in because I am going to be going back with the other kind of moss and adding some of that in as well. So let me just cook that for a minute. Set that down and let that cook. While that is cooking, let me start grabbing some containers to mix things in. So this looks like it had purple. Oh, excuse me. Looks like it had purple in it before, so we'll do that again. See another one that looks like maybe it had purple in it. I do a lot of purple. Okay, and then we're talking about doing like a black. That one looks like maybe it had black in it. Well, I guess we can just mix up black for both of these things. We'll mix up black for this one, and we'll mix up black for this one. We do need one for green, which I think I just did that recently. Just a second. We'll just use the one that I used for the green. Yeah, this is the one. Oh, I think this might be the one that I mixed this green up in originally. So that works out. Either that one or this one. I do reuse these cups, which, like, they could probably use cleaned out, but like I could probably, I have a bunch that still have resin in them. Okay, this is good. Okay, we've got that, and we'll need to grab 3 more. Let me add a little bit more moss, and we'll find the 3 cups for the yellow and the red and the blue. Well, it cooks again. Okay, a little bit more. I'm just kind of smearing a little bit, just to kind of make the edge look kind of tacky almost. Just enough here to kind of tack things down. That's really what I'm just doing. Like it's not gonna need to be super sturdy. This is if I can pick it up with my tweezers. It doesn't need to be super sturdy. It's gonna be encased in resin anyways, so. But I want it to stay there while I place it. While I place it in the mold. Because it's going to be a little bit fun trying to get this into the mold. The mold is rather stretchy, but it does have kind of a small opening that I'm going to need to try and fit this into. Okay. I'm going to let that cook. And while that goes, let's find ones for the yellow and the red and the blue. Looks like this one had yellow. Oh, that's not even the pigments. That's just my chips. Let's find the correct yellow. Golden yellow, fuchsia, and blue. I'm gonna throw these back in the back in my color chip bin. And I should find one for the red. That one looks like it had red. And that one had green. Okay. Let me grab one that's a little bit cleaner maybe. Or this one had blue. So we're gonna do that one. Hello! Drive safe, Jen. We'll be back. Alright. We'll talk to you later. Have fun. I'm just attaching moss to a little tiny mountain because I like how the other one turned out that I did this with. So I think I did that on stream. Did I do that on stream? No, maybe I didn't do the little mountain on stream. I don't remember. I can't remember if I did the little mountain on stream or not. I might have just done the first layer for the little mountain on stream. But I have a die with a little mountain in it. And I like how it turned out. And so does my grandma. And she asked if she could get a necklace that was similar. So I'm gonna do that. But I'm adding a little bit of moss around the base of the mountain just to kind of blend it in with the base of the resin, which I have kind of like a little bit of a resin base. I poured a little bit in the mold already. That's what I mean by a base. But to be fair, the resin that I poured in there already, it's not super, oh, I guess it doesn't really matter because it's round. That's fine. As you see, it's not super flat, like it kind of ended up a little bit lopsided, but it really does not matter because it's round, and so there is no up and down. It's fine. I was worrying about nothing, which is kind of the norm, so you know. Same old, same old. I'm trying to get a little bit of moss all glued on, all tacked on. I'm almost done with this kind of moss, and then we'll add the other kind of moss and we'll be all set. I'm getting a little bit of a headache. I think maybe the pressure's changing a little bit. It kind of seems like it's not windy yet, but it's going to be. I don't know how to explain that, but it's windy here quite often, but it gives me a headache when it's super windy out. Alright, so let's cook this. Put it under the light again. And then, oh good, I do have that in there. So yeah, we're just gonna do, just kind of a couple of safe designs, I guess, tonight. We're gonna be chill. We're gonna do some chill designs. Yeah, we are gonna do commissions on at least one commission on Saturday. So I will be reaching out to the person that that's gonna be for, because I finally got green alcohol inks. Yay! I've ordered things for commissions recently. I finally got green alcohol inks in, and then I ordered, let's see, rose gold paint for the numbers, which hopefully I went to my local craft store and they just did not, they had like spots for it on the shelf, but they just didn't have any rose gold paint. It's just like, no. So finally I just ordered it on Amazon. And then I did go to a local craft store first and try to find the things that I needed, and I did find a couple of things, but I also ordered some more mica powders. I needed a black mica powder for a commission. That we'll probably do those on stream sometime soon after materials come in. But I also needed like a red. I don't have a red, and it seems to be an issue. Like I just looking around, it seems like a lot of people have had trouble trying to find like red mica powders. Don't know why. But I needed a black, and so then I just got like a multi-pack of mica powders that also had like a red in it. And also a brown, because I had a brown at one point. I don't know if I used it all or what. I don't know whatever happened to it. I also don't have a paint chip for it. I almost think maybe I imagined it, but like I remember the brown. I think maybe I used it all in soap making. That might be what happened. It might have gotten used in soap making, and so it never actually made it all the way to the resin. Oh yeah, if you're new here, a lot of my resin pigments, not a lot of them, but the mica powders, yeah, I ordered those from a soap website. Like, I got them a while back for soap making, and then they just kind of ended up as resin pigments, because that's where I ended up. Oh, I'm out of tea. I'll have to make more after this. Oh. I should start figuring out some more non-resin projects or non-dice projects to do. Okay, let's start adding, I'm going to start adding the other kind of moss that I have. I should figure out some other projects to do on like Saturday streams, because I feel like that's just kind of fun, doing something different on Saturdays. It gives me a little bit of a break from dice. As much as I like making dice, at this point it is work. It is my job. So it's nice to do something else every once in a while. That's part of the reason that I've been enjoying Minecraft so much, is it is actually, you know, something that's for fun. I enjoy making dice, but at the same time, there's days where it's just like, I don't want to go pour resin, but I gotta go pour resin. I do love streaming though, and as I've said before, it gives me an excuse to work on fun projects that I would put off otherwise. But now that I'm almost done with the bird painting, which I probably won't finish on stream just because I'm almost done with it, like I'm really close to being done with it, I should just finish it. I mean, we could probably finish it tonight if we really wanted to. Like, I'm very close. Like, I'm almost done with that. Maybe I should figure out another painting. Like, another painting to do next. Because I like painting. Either probably a still life or something, maybe something abstract. I like doing things that are kind of abstract. Maybe we'll do some sort of abstract painting at some point. Not this Saturday, because I am making dice. That is the plan. I will be making dice this Saturday because I have commissions that I need to do. But let's plan for like some sort of abstract painting at some point. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've done some sort of abstract painting. I'll need to think on, like, we could just go into it without any ideas. I've done that before. That's kind of fun. But maybe I'll start thinking of some ideas for sort of look I want for that. Maybe I'll try something with oils. Okay, so it's been a while since I've used oils. I haven't used oils since the painting class that I took, which was ended back in May of, oh wow, it's been a year. It's been a year since I've used oils. I've done acrylic since then, obviously, since I did the, let's put that away. Since I did the crow painting, which, let me grab the crow painting for folks that have not seen it. It's sort of a painting, I suppose. Here, let me switch the camera. Hopefully, I still have sound. Yeah, so the crow painting for folks that have not seen it. The crow, and not actually a painting. It's kind of painting in quotes, but it's fun because there's like levers you can flip and things that spin. Okay, let me go back to, there we go. And it's almost done. I just have a few more. Let me get back over here. I just have a few more things that I wanna glue on. I have a little bit more space down in the bottom left-hand corner. Oh, I feel like I should show you. I'll do it once Jen is actually back and can look. But I should show you guys how I did my signature on that. That's a thing that I do when I'm painting. I like to hide my signature or blend it in with whatever, like blend it in with the painting. I have a giant like rainbow whirlpool painting, and so my name is just kind of like stretched like it's falling, kind of flowing into the whirlpool. If you didn't know my name was Liz, you probably would not find it, which is fine by me. I forget to sign my work all the time. Alright. Oh, I should have brought one of my new business cards down to show off. I got business cards. I'm all fancy and professional now. It's exciting. I want to get stickers too, because I send stickers with like the orders, but they're just like random stickers that I had. So it'd be fun to get some stickers that like matched my branding. I've got branding. Can't tell if that's sticky right there or not. Let me just see if I can get that. There, I don't know what it is. That's okay. I'm gonna let that cook. Yeah, I want to get. I'm not quite sure what I would want them to look like, because like I could just do like my logo. I could do my shop logo as stickers, but that just seems kind of boring. I don't know. It'd probably be like good, maybe, but at the same time, I don't know. It might be fun to send more than one sticker, I guess. Like maybe one with my shop logo and one that's like related to my shop but isn't my shop logo. My thought has been like some sort of like potion bottle or something. But I don't know. I don't know. I could use ideas. People have ideas. Feel free to give me ideas for what I should make stickers of. I guess I could go a little bit more complex with stickers too. I could do like an actual like, I could do a whole like workbench. Ooh, that'd be kind of cool. Do like a whole like alchemy workbench. Wait, now I have thoughts, but I don't know. I wonder if I could do that actually. I wonder if I could do like a sticker that's like a whole alchemy workbench from the front. That'd be kind of cool. With like a Bunsen burner maybe, and some like old-timey fantasy bottles, and some other random ingredients and stuff. Okay, come on. Trying to get my moss to stick correctly. That's an idea. I think that would be more interesting if I did like a whole alchemy workbench. Might be more work. I'm now wondering whether I should try and commission someone for that, but I don't necessarily know how. Or if I should try and draw or paint. Oh, to be fair, I could try painting. Ooh, what if I did a painting of like an alchemy workbench? Ooh, that's an idea. To be fair, as long as I like draw it out first, I might be able to try and do it digitally. I just have to like draw it out by hand first. I'm still not very good at the whole digital thing. But you know, we could try it. Okay, let's see. No, I think that's good. Let's we'll nuke that again. I just looked over. I'm like, I could use a snack, and I saw one of those tins that like have those. I don't know. What are they? Butter cookies or sugar cookies or whatever in them? And they're just like these metal tins. And then I saw it mentioned at one point that they never have cookies. They always have sewing supplies in them. But I was very excited for a moment because I was like, ooh, cookies. See, the funny thing is that I do actually have some of those cookies in one of those tins upstairs. Because I was ordering some stuff on Amazon and I wanted free shipping. And it was just like, what do they have in the add-on items? and they had those cookies. And I'm like, it's been a while since I've had those cookies. So I've been eating those. I like cookies. I do like cookies. You know, I don't usually eat a lot of candy necessarily. I actually have more of a sweet tooth when I'm just sitting at my desk upstairs. I don't usually eat a lot of like candy usually, but I do like baked goods. I like cookies. I like pastries. Give me a good fruit tart. Like, baked goods. Is a fruit tart? I guess a fruit tart's a baked good, right? I'm assuming a fruit tart's a baked good. To be fair, you know, just give me anything with fruit on it, and I'm sold. So, I just really like fruit. I don't know if that's because it's one of the like few things that doesn't give me an upset stomach or what, but I do like fruit. Okay, let's. Okay, let me. Okay, I'm gonna mix that. Oh, put that under the light and let it cure for 30 seconds or so. Alright, we're almost done with that, and then we'll put it in here. Put a little bit more moss around it and everything. I think we'll be good to go on that. I might actually want to try gluing that down a little bit. So I think I will actually grab, I am actually going to grab the Elmer's glue, because I am going to tack the mountain down a little bit, because I know I said it doesn't matter because it's a sphere, but I did end up with the base part being kind of slanted, and I don't want the mountain just sliding. And just hold it in place. Let me see, where are we at? Yeah, I got a little bit more here that I need to add. Of the second kind of moss is what I'm talking about. I'll see if I can show you what I'm doing. I'm adding moss around the base of this little mountain. Just adding some moss, and that'll help it kind of blend in with the base of this necklace that I'm making. So we're going to tack it down to that, and then we're going to add a little bit more moss around it. That's the plan anyways. I'm just using a little bit of UV resin to kind of tack all of those little pieces of moss on there. And I can't remember if I did this on, I don't know that I did this on stream before or not. Because this is, you know, this mountain design is coming from a commission that I was working on at one point. I kind of think maybe I didn't. I think that was off stream. Because I think I just did the base part on stream. It's hard to remember. Hard to remember when I worked on things. Was I streaming or was I watching YouTube videos at the time? I don't remember. Those are my two modes of working though. It's I'm either streaming or watching YouTube videos. I was going to try and film mold making yesterday and I completely forgot. I just, I remembered after the fact. I remembered now, but I was going to try and film mold making, because that's something that people ask me about quite a bit. It's about mold making. So I figured it might be good to make a video or something, but I'll have to do it next week. My new schedule that I've made for myself, I used to make molds every other week. Because it would take up, you know, I put those in the pressure pot instead of a set of dice. And they only take like, it technically only takes like 4 hours for them to cure. Which does work out better for me. Like I can work on them closer together than I can dice. But usually I like to let them sit overnight in the pressure pot. I usually like to give them about 8 hours at least or something. They're still a little bit soft after 4. But, attach that there. I used to do them every other week, because I would do them on Mondays and Tuesdays, every other week. Because there's two parts to them. You know, I have to make the base part of them, and then I have to make the lid. And that worked out fine, except that it meant that I wasn't making dice on Mondays and Tuesdays when because I was making molds instead. But the thing was, on the weeks that I wasn't making molds and I was making dice, I still wasn't making dice on Tuesdays. And the reason for that is because if I make dice Monday night, the earliest that I can then make dice on Tuesday is Tuesday night, because I have to wait about 24 hours to pull things out of the pressure pot, which means that the earliest that I can make dice on Wednesday is Wednesday night, and I want to make sure that I have enough time to be able, like, and, you know, I have a set time that I'm making things on Wednesday nights, because I'm streaming at the time. And so I was like avoiding making dice on Tuesdays so that I could make sure that the pressure pot would be free to make dice on Wednesdays. And so even though, you know, I was making molds just every other week, I was still only making dice one out of those 2 days on the weeks that I wasn't making molds. And so I've switched things around a little bit so that now I'm making molds on the days before I stream. And that way I can make sure that the pressure pot is clear for streams. But it also means that I'm now making molds every week, because I'm going to make the first part on Tuesdays and the second part on Fridays. But it also means, and then I'm also making more dice, because it means that I'm going to make dice on Monday every week now, instead of just every other week. And I still have Wednesdays and Saturdays to make dice, which I was, you know, doing dice anyways. But I was kind of avoiding making dice on Fridays sometimes, because I was like, it's a little bit late, and I want to make sure that I'm doing dice tomorrow and make sure that the pressure pot's open. But now it's not an issue. Now I'm making dice, you know, at least 3 times. Well, at least I'm making dice 3 times a week now. And I'm making molds twice a week. I'm making one set of molds over the span of 2 days. So I'm making one set of molds a week, but instead of every other week. But it's just like, I can be more efficient this way. I'm very proud of myself for figuring out a more efficient way to set things up. It's perhaps a strange thing to be proud of, but it's just like, yeah, I'm being efficient. I'm businessing. And like, actually thinking about things, which is something I have trouble with. My brain works, I swear. Oh, I do actually want a little bit more of that, the UV resin, because I'm going to tack this down with a little bit of Elmer's glue, and I'm going to actually add a little bit more moss, which I shouldn't have put away, because I need more of that. I'm going to add a little bit more moss around it. This is probably going to be kind of difficult to do. I just need the barest dot of glue, because I'm just tacking it down. I was going to say, this is unrelated. What is this? What was this related to? Oh, being efficient, me not taking the time to actually think things through. That's what it was. That's the thing. It just takes time to think things through, and I have to actually like pause for a second. And I'm very bad at remembering to do that, because I just don't remember things. And that's part of the reason it's imperative that I do actually slow down and think about things. It's because I don't have a good memory. What I was going to say is, I feel like it's probably an ADHD thing. Like, that's probably an ADHD thing, but I was going to say, sometimes I feel like the smartest idiot or the stupidest genius or something that you'll ever meet. Did that tack down? No, it did not. Now, a little bit more glue. A little bit more glue. But I feel like that's a fairly common ADHD mood from what I've heard. And it's funny every once in a while, just like I can kind of see that too in the folks that I know that have ADHD, or like YouTubers I watch that I know have ADHD. It's just like, ah, yes, you are also a very smart idiot. This seems accurate. I'm trying to flip it over now without getting this glue everywhere. Okay, flip over. See, this is what I'm talking about. Okay. There we go. Got it the right direction. Let's get that centered. I'm trying to, sorry, I have it out of frame. I'm trying to get the mountain kind of centered in this little sphere here. And I just put a little bit of glue on it to try and tack it into place. And that should dry and shouldn't really cause too much of an issue. I'm just trying to make sure that everything is kind of centered. I don't have random pieces of moss everywhere like that one. I am going to put a few random pieces of moss in there, but we're going to do that with UV resin and not with Elmer's glue, because I think that will look better. Yeah, let's add a little bit more to our fancy UV resin tools, which is a couple of straight pins. I'm just going to add another drop in there. Alright, I'm just going to try and put a little of this kind of around, spread it out a little bit. Not on there. If I can get it, moss stuck on it. Okay, let me see if I can get a bigger glob even. I think that will help it make it all the way to the bottom. There we go. And try and stick things in there. Oh, that's fine. Okay, I'm going to try and squish some of this stuff around. And then we're going to try and put some little tiny pieces of moss in there. Kind of over that UV resin. And then nuke it again. This is legitimately hard to work in because it's such a small little opening there. I should figure out how long it takes me to make things. I did sit down. I didn't sit down, I guess. I went and timed all of the different pieces that it takes for making dice. Just the basic things. So, like, you know, pouring, sanding, cleaning, inking. But that really doesn't take into account any of the, like, complex ones that I do, where I'm... This is why complex dice are, you know, so much more expensive. In my listings, I have like 3 different levels, sort of, that at different price. I have 3 different price points. And the complex ones, the ones where I have to like make something, paint something, or meticulously place something. And this is an example of all 3 actually, because I made the mountain, I then painted it, and now I'm kind of meticulously placing things in here. But the reason that those are expensive is because this takes time. This takes time to do. Yeah, see, we've been streaming for like an hour and a half now. Ah, come on. We have worked on a couple of different things now. You know, I did take a minute to unmold some things. And then we dusted those molds. You know, I didn't really think about it, I guess, when I first started dice making, but how long it would take to like make a set of dice. Like I remember seeing the like prices for handmade dice. I'm just like, oh, those are expensive. And that's part of the reason I don't really have a lot of handmade dice. Just because they're expensive. But, you know, now that I'm actually making them, it's just like, oh yeah. I guess when I first started, to be fair, the thing that almost kept me from making dice, like before I even started, was the sanding of them. Like, and it wasn't even a time thing. I was just very worried that I wouldn't have enough precision to sand dice. Because I was just like, oh, you know, to get those weighted properly and everything, you know, that's got to be, you know, it's like, it's something that I could probably get good at over time, but I don't know if I want to deal with that learning curve. That seems like it'd be a ton of work to try and get that figured out and get good at that. I mean, at this point, I sand dice all the time. I'm used to it. It's not a big deal. But before I started, I was worried about that. I was very worried. Hello, Jen. How are you doing? I'm attempting to place moss into the thingy. I just want it tacked down enough. Ooh, bagel. I had a bagel. That's what I had earlier for eating, was that bagel. I didn't actually have a bagel and cream cheese. I had a bagel with like lunch meat and stuff, but I did have a bagel. Considering buying more dice. Girl! I am still curious to see your dice collection so far. I've slowly grown my dice collection a little bit over the years, but I don't have a ton of dice. I mean, to be fair, I have some that I've made. I guess that kind of counts, but you know, I have access to the dice that I have made. I am this is unrelated to that, but there's a set of dice in my shop that they're almost expired. The listing is. I'm kind of hoping no one buys them because I did really kind of make that set for me. I made a set of dice for a character that I've been wanting to play. Like I have a warlock character idea. And I kind of made the dice based on that character. So it is kind of funny to me that, you know, no one has bought those because it's just like, yes, excellent. No one buy those. They expire like May 1st, I think. It's just like, excellent. I shall keep them for myself. But you never know. I did go through, I'm talking about random shop stuff. My life at this point is just shop stuff. I need to get out more. I need to like go read a book or something. Do something exciting. I need more to bring to talk to you guys about. I'm a very boring conversationalist at this point. It's all about work. Which, to be fair, even when I worked in an office, it was like all my conversations at that point was also all about work. Because it's just like, it's what I'm doing all day. I don't have anything else to talk about. And so now, again, I still talk about work. What was I talking about? I mean, apart from just work as a concept. What was I saying? It was obviously very important. The dice. Oh, I went and took some new photographs of some dice that had been in my shop for a little bit. Because there was a couple of ones in there that every once in a while I'll go through my shop and be like, okay, what's not selling? And can I tell why? And there's a couple of them in there that just did not have good photos. A couple of them just didn't have good photos. So I went back in there and I went outside and took some new photos today that look a lot better, at least in my opinion. Added some more to one of them that just didn't really have many photos. So we'll see if that changes things. I feel like that is something that I should try and up a little bit, is maybe my photography. Something I should sit down and take the time to figure out how to do it correctly, which is the story of my life. Okay, maybe set this moss here so I can see it clearly. I'm grabbing a little bit of the second kind of moss to try and put a little bit of it in here too. I think we'll try nuking that, and then we can add a little bit more. Oh, let's see. Do you want to see what I still plan to sand for the next dice release? I have kind of the stuff that I need to sand divided up into 2 containers. Well, kind of 3 containers, but the sets. Like these are the ones that I've made that I don't expect to be in the next. I don't expect to have these in the shop at the beginning of May. That's just the, you know, the, in the grand scheme of things, these aren't going to be there. And I usually try to kind of sort through and get kind of a mix of colors and stuff. Like there is a set in here that has been in here for a while. And that's because they have a very similar color scheme to like this set. So there's like this set, which has like blue and silver foil and black. And then there's this set here, which is kind of all like oceany and stuff. But they both have kind of that dark blue sort of color scheme to them. So, you know, they get to end up in different shop updates. But so here's the ones that won't be in the next shop update. And then here's the ones that hopefully will be. I still don't know on these ones. So you know how I was talking about dice that I find ugly but other people might not? Or if you were here earlier, I was talking about dice that I find ugly but other people might like. Here's one of them that just kind of has like every color of glitter imaginable in it, and then has like a kind of darkish reddish purple sort of color on the other side. And like it makes me think of Mardi Gras or something like that. Like just all of the different colors of glitter. Like you can't really see all the color, I think, in the camera as well. But there's just so many colors in here. It's one of those sets where it's just like, that's a little much, but someone else might like them. So, you know, it's one of those sets where it's just like, should I put these in my miscellaneous dice box because I don't necessarily think they're great, or should I just sand them and see if someone else wants them? I do have, you know, kind of a returning. Just a second here. This says some resin that flipped down, which is just unfortunate. Let's get that off there. You know, here's a returning design. I have a couple of returning designs actually. I have I think I call these toxic waste. It's just like glow in the dark green with some black. And then this one's slightly different. I used a slightly different pigment this time, but electric, I think is what I called it, is like a translucent blue and an opaque pink. Did I make these ones glow in the dark? I can't remember if I made these ones glow in the dark or not though. And then the set that I'm excited about, the layered rainbow ones. These ones will be more expensive because those took me forever. But I have I have a few sets that I still need to sand. And I already have like 14 sets upstairs. They're already polished. 6 of which are inked. Maybe we'll do an inking stream again at some point, because boy do I have a bunch of sets upstairs that I need to ink. Okay, there's some more of this. So is there a particular set of dice or style of dice or something that you're thinking of getting, Jen? I am curious what your ideas are for another set of dice. Okay. Oh, let me check something. Oh, my new emote is there. Cool. Sorry, just a second. Sorry, I was just testing. Oh, the funny blue cloud dice. Ah, I actually have another set of those too that are slightly different. That won't be in this release. Oh. Yeah, I have that set, which is more of like the dark blue, but has like kind of more of the white. Then I have this set too, that's like the white's not as tall, but has some more tealy colors in it. And these will probably be available next one. 5D10 sheet. Ah. Brown and copper. Five D10s. Oh, the D10s. I should really figure out a D10s thing. I had someone reach out at one point about Vampire the Masquerade dice. And actually, and it's one of those things where it's just like, I mean, that would be good to sell, but also getting the mold set up for that would be fun. It's one of those things where, you know, we can figure out something, but I don't know if you mean for me or if you have a place that you're getting them from too. There's plenty of dice makers in the sea. I always like seeing. There's also one very ambitious idea. Okay, I am curious now. I'm curious what your very ambitious idea is. A loyal customer. To be fair, if like there's no skin off my teeth if you decide you want to start like a collection from different people. I do appreciate your continued support. But there is some, you know, I was talking about this earlier about making like unique dice to a certain extent. Like, you know, I do have a style, but I want to start making some things that are more just kind of unique. Because, like, different people make different things. Let's see, 7 dice for the 7 planes of your friend's setting. Heaven, Hell, the Abyss, and the Shadowfell, the Feywild, etc. Oh, that's cool. Like, I guess there's a lot of different ways you could take that, but that's doable. I must say, that is something that I've enjoyed doing, is making, and I should do it some more. I should figure out some more sets to do this with. But I do enjoy making sets where all of the dice are different. Like, they follow the same theme. Or they're at least tied together somehow, but all of the dice are different. Like, there's something fun about that. Like, something like that. That seems like it would be easy enough to do. Those could absolutely be... You could make the styles of those match super easy, I'd think. I guess it would depend on what you were thinking, but... my brother had the idea at one point, and I should just make them. He had an idea at one point for a set of dice where each die has a different like warning label in it, like the radiation symbol or like the caution combustible symbol, and then do them in like different colors that kind of match. Just it was just kind of a funny idea. I should just make them because it's a fun idea, but oh, I'm out of tea. I forgot. Is that this size? I think it might be this size. Is it this size of sphere? I think it must be this size of sphere. Sorry, I have a couple of different sizes of spheres. I should actually do something with some of these. I have all sorts of. I don't really make them as much anymore. I used to use these as dump molds. I used to make a whole bunch of just like crystals. Ed's smoke spot. Adjust it in what way? I'm working on resin stuff. There's not much I can adjust. I am adding a little bit of moss around a mountain. Let me set those back. I'm adding a little bit of, I have a little tiny mountain in here. I'm making a little bit of a little necklace. Kind of hard to see. It's a little cloudy. But I'm adding kind of like moss around the base of it to kind of attach it to the kind of base layer that I put in already. And then we're going to add more clear resin on top with like some kind of smoke around it. I think I'm almost done. I'm just trying to look in here and see if I got it all the way around, and I think I did. So I think we're good to go on that. Which means we can actually get to some resin. Here, let me grab the, I already made a die that has a little mountain in it, and it's based on that. Let me grab it. Yeah, I already put that in here. But I made a die for a commission that has a little mountain in it. And so now I'm making a necklace because I showed my grandma and she was like, oh, can I have a necklace like that? And I'm like, sure, let's do that. It's ended up a little tricky, but that's okay. Let me throw this back up here. So what we're gonna do, since there's probably some new folks here, I have two different sets of dice that I'm gonna be pouring. I have a set here that I want. This was just a whole bunch of random resin that I kind of poured into a die, but I like how it looks. So I want to kind of try to recreate it. It just kind of has kind of a cloudy look in there. So I want to try and recreate that. I'm going to use green though, because I just got a green color and I want to try it out. And I'm going to be recreating like a rainbow set that I did in the past. It's just kind of the three primary colors, and they kind of mix together to make a rainbow. But so I think we're all set to go. I need to grab one more mixing cup here for the clear. I have one just sitting here. Just a second here, let me find a mixing cup. Where's my little mixing cups? I have a whole bunch of big mixing cups. Where's my little ones? Oh, they're at the bottom. Asoival? I'm very sorry if I'm butchering your name there, but thanks for following. Glad you could stop by the stream. Also, thanks for stopping by Ed's Smoke Spot. Hope you're having a good day or evening, whatever time it is for you. So I'll add a little bit of this Aciuval. Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of this glitter, which is just kind of like an iridescent, it's kind of, it shows up kind of clear, but then it has that rainbow shimmer to it. I just want a little bit of it in here. I don't want it to be like the main focus or anything. So we're just gonna add a little tiny bit. What are you folks up to? Doing any arts and crafts? I always like put streams on in like the background usually if I'm working on something else. I don't know if everybody does that, but so I'm always curious if other people are working on arts and crafts too. So this is gonna have clear in it, and a little bit of this white. Yeah, a little bit of that white. I have these crystal molds that I'm going to do, and I'm going to do those in a purple, and then I want some of this purple. I usually try to get my powdered pigments into my mixing cups beforehand, so I don't have to try and deal with getting those figured out while my hands are all resiny. How much of this do I want? You know, the bags are really kind of inconvenient. They just make a mess. Okay, that should be plenty. That should be plenty of that. You're making seam rippers on the lathe. Oh, cool. Lathing, it always looks so cool. Like, I don't know, it just seems really cool. I've realized, I think, that I kind of end up working on, like, I guess to be fair, seam rippers aren't very big, but I end up working on sort of a smaller scale. I don't do a lot of the, like, I don't know, there's so many cool things out there. Like, woodworking is one of those things where it's like, that'd be really cool to learn, but I don't need any more arts or crafts projects to start. Okay, I think that's all of our powdered pigments. Oh, well, at least you're trying it out. If it doesn't work out, though, it doesn't work out. That's always a thing that might happen. All right. I brought out, I have a Lego mold that I made, and I don't sell Legos because I don't want to get sued. And these are actually made from Legos, but I'm going to try making Legos again, I think, if I have extra resin, because I think I probably will have extra resin. But I do think that that is everything. That's all of our powdered pigments. So let's get some resin. Yep, I think that's it. All right, so I'm going to be a little bit muffled because for safety reasons, I'll be wearing a respirator. Just so y'all know, it's going to sound a little funky. I'm going to sound like this for the rest of the stream. But resin does put off fumes, so it's just safer in the long run to be wearing a respirator. Just the mixing cup that I set to the side. Yes. So we're going to do about 80 milliliters of resin. Each set of dice takes about 30. And I want to have, so that's 60 total, and I want a little bit of extra. And I have to do it in groups of 20 because of the measurement, and so we're going to end up doing 80. Let me grab the resin. Alright, so we've got our big containers of resin here. I am going to go a little bit quiet here while I measure because it's just better for everybody involved if I don't try and talk and measure at the same time. It just does not end up well. I will tell my normal story in just a moment once I get back. But feel free to chat amongst yourselves. So this is, okay. So this is 2-part resin. So this is the actual resin itself, and then the second part here is a hardener, and I want to have equal parts of both. Alright, so give me just a second here. So I'll measure this accurately. And the reason I have my hand here is so that I can actually read the numbers. If I don't have a background, they're impossible to read. All right. All right, I'm back. Oh, no worries, little Ashy. Glad you could make it back. We're just starting the fun part, so this is going to take a minute. I want to make sure this is mixed up completely. If it's not mixed up completely, it won't cure properly. So we'll just yeah, you got me right when I was pouring the resin. The story that I always tell about why I can't talk and measure at the same time is there was one time I was making myself a cup of tea. I drink a lot of tea. And I had the kettle in my hand, and I was looking at my cup, and I started pouring the hot water into the cup, and I started thinking about something else, and I was still looking at the cup, but I got so caught up in what I was thinking about that I completely overfilled it and got hot water all over the place. So it's just better if I actually focus while I'm pouring, or we're just going to end up with a mess. Even if I focus, we might end up with a mess. So it's just better if I, hope for the best. Yeah. So this will take a minute. You can tell that it's not mixed all the way because it's still kind of cloudy, and because you can kind of see streaks in it. I want to get it mixed to the point where it's nice and clear, and also you can't see any streaks in it at all. The streaks are where the two different parts are kind of combining, like they're next to each other. And I want it all to be one homogeneous thing. I do tend to overmix a little bit, but that's okay for what I'm doing. Usually, you want it to be mixed up completely, and this is not mixed up completely at all. I'm still mixing, but you want it to be mixed up completely so it cures properly, but you don't want to mix it too much or too vigorously because you end up with air bubbles in it, which I definitely have air bubbles in there. Yeah, see the air bubbles in there? But I have a pressure pot, which will kind of, make that so it's not an issue anymore. I still don't want like giant pockets of air or anything, but the little tiny air bubbles, when I put them in the pressure pot, I put them in there and I pump it full of air so it's all under pressure. And it takes those little tiny air bubbles and it squishes them down so that they're really, really small, and they're so small that you can't see them. And so it's fine if there's a few of the little air bubbles in there, because they're going to get squished down so small that you can't even see them. But I don't want big pockets of air, or a lot of the bubbles. If there's a ton of bubbles, they might all rise to the surface and make a big air pocket, and that's just not what I want. But we'll do some other stuff to mitigate that issue a little bit later on in the process too. We'll overfill the molds a little bit, and I'll show you that once we get to it. I should figure out, so these three, the yellow, the red, and the blue, those will have like 10 milliliters each, because 30 milliliters. That's pretty easy to do. I should figure out how much of each of these I want to do though. I think I want mostly the green and the clear. I don't want a ton of the white. I'm kind of basing this off of a dye that I made with just random, like I had leftover resin and I just kind of poured it all into a mold. I made kind of this cool kind of cloud effect. And I'm going to try and recreate that, but I'm going to do it with green because I just got this green and I want to try it out. And so I'm just thinking about how much I want. So I just want a little bit of the white. Probably, actually, maybe equal amounts of the green and the black. Maybe we'll have it about 10, 10, 10. 15, 10, 5. Actually, okay, let me think about this. 10, 5, and that'll be 15, 7.5 of each of those. I'm trying to think of how much clear I want in comparison to like the colors too. Like, do I want it at about a third? Maybe about a third. It's about 10, yeah, 10, 5, 7.5, 7.5. I think that'll be good. Or do I want even less of the white? 2.5? So it'd be 12.5, which would leave us with, what, 17.5? Is it? No, wait, did I do that correctly? Yeah, 17.5. That might be, I don't know if I want to do that math. That's just going to get confusing. We'll just make a little bit extra of all of them. Run a piece of resin. Okay, this is getting pretty close. I'm going to scrape the sides here and scrape the bottom. I want to make sure that there's none of any of one part or the other that's getting caught there. You know, I don't want a big glob of part A or part B just sitting there. Then it wouldn't cure properly. So we're gonna scrape this. It looks like it's pretty well mixed, but like I said before, I tend to over mix mine a little bit because I don't want any gooey parts, and I'm fine with having a little bit of extra air in there. So I think we're looking good. The indicator again is whether there's any sort of streaks or anything in there. That's part of the reason I'm doing this, is because if I can see a line after I'm scraping the side and then I'm putting the resin kind of in a line here. And the reason I'm doing that is because if I can then see a line after it's settled, it means that one of the parts is not mixed in all the way. I don't think I've ever explained why I do that before, but that is why I'm scraping the sides and then making kind of a line here with the resin. I want to make sure that it blends in completely, because if I see a line, it's a sure indicator that it's not mixed completely. But it does appear to be mixed completely, so that's good. All right, so let's start with these three because I know how much they need. It's going to be the yellow and the red and the blue. And I said before, a full set of dice is 30 milliliters, and we want even amounts of these three colors, so we're just going to do 10 milliliters. And again, I'm going to be probably quiet while I try to measure because I can't do, I'm not the most accurate, so I'll actually pick these up. It's not like it has to be completely accurate. As long as I have enough resin, it's not going to be an issue. Let's just fill these up. And I might actually have a little bit of extra resin at the end. I might put a little bit extra in here, just because, you know, it's good to have a little bit of extra just in case. And I think we will have a little bit of extra. These are yellow, red, and blue. And then I think I wanted about a third clear, so we're going to do about 10 milliliters of the clear here as well. Not quite. Alright, there's about 10 milliliters. And I still need to figure out about how much I want to do of these. Well, this one I think we're only going to want like 2.5 or 5. Well, look, I'm going to add somewhere in there. I don't think we're going to want a ton of the white. I think I want it to be mostly the black and the green. So yeah. Let's go 7.5 and 7.5 maybe. I don't know that my math is correct there, but that's okay. Okay, there we go. We've got all of those. And then the rest of this is going to end up... I actually don't have as much left as I thought I would. Did I measure out the right amount? I think I just end up with a little bit of extra in all of those. Huh. Did I go up to 80? I hope I measured that correctly. Did I just go up to... Yeah, I went up to 80. I think I did. I'm now second guessing myself. Hopefully I measured that correctly because my brain is now telling... I'm pretty sure I did. I guess we'll find out. It seems to be the right consistency and everything, so I'm not too worried. And it mixed up fine. It's clear. Well, I don't know. Oh, I just added a little bit extra, I think, to these. That's fine. Let's start with these. Well, let's start getting the colors mixed up. But actually, I think I want to do these ones last. And the reason for that is the longer I wait, the thicker it gets, the resin gets. And when the resin is a little bit thicker, it doesn't mix as much when you pour it into the molds. I'll put some of this in here. And for those ones, I want there to be kind of distinct sections of the yellow and the red and the blue. It'll help it so that they kind of mix when you look at them, but not so much in the molds, I guess. Oh, actually, I want to make extra of this black. So I'm going to make, we're gonna put some of that in these crystal molds too. But, and I think, so this here, I think maybe we'll have some extra black over there anyways. I have a little bit left in here, and this is going to be a little, kind of my, little, in case of emergency resin. So let's mix up our purple mica here. Actually, these might be the best to do first, because it's going to be easiest to get this into the molds while it's liquidy. So we'll mix these up first. That was way too much pigment for this. Okay. Yeah, that's, oh well, that'll be okay. This purple's kind of funky. It looks kind of muted, and then once it cures, it's fine. This stuff we're only going to be putting into the molds that have a color dusted into them, because I found that the clear purple doesn't show up. Does not show up at all. All right, let's get our black. This is a nice opaque black. It's a very, very pigmented black. So it just takes a little tiny bit. Oops, that's probably more than I need. That's fine. Okay, there we go. That's probably good. Let me show you how much black I have here. I have that little corner there of black. And that's it. I feel like this is very satisfying when I start mixing it, because very quickly turns the resin black. Get this mixed in properly. Oh, do I actually want more than that? Oh, I might actually need a little bit more. Yeah. I'm surprised I can actually use a little bit more of the black pigment in here, because it's not quite as opaque as I was hoping for. That's okay. That's okay. Alright. Yeah, we're going to put a little bit more of the black pigment in there. A little bit does go a long way, though. Let's just scrape off the sides here. There we go. I really should not take too much more in there. Oh, look, cat hair. There's always cat hair. Alright. So, trying to get all of the pigment off the end of this one. I think I'll just end up stirring with both of these, but that's okay. Trying to get this a little bit more opaque. It'd be hard to judge just quite how much I need. There we go. Yeah, just that little bit of extra really made that a lot darker. And I'm actually going to stir this one in there too. Make sure I got all of that off. Yeah, I think I did. Okay, let me get that out of the way. Alright. Got our black all mixed up. We're gonna try out our new green, which I'm excited about. Oh, I don't need the paint chip there. I have little like paint chips. They're not really paint chips, but they're colorant sort of chips, I guess, that I've made for all of my different pigments. And I just got these green ones recently. I'm very excited to use. I got like a pack of 3 different green alcohol inks because I did not have a green color. So I'm excited to use these because I haven't actually used them apart from just making those little tester chips. And I was saying earlier, I ordered some more mica powders too, which is like the shimmery things that we're using here for a couple of different commissions that I'm going to be working on once they come in, which I'll probably do on stream. I usually do commissions on stream, just so that the people who ordered can see them being made. I think that's probably dark enough. I don't need any more green. This is exciting though. It's such a nice green. This is the kind of green that I've been wanting, but I've been having to make. And this one's going to be white. Do I want to go with the other white? I think we'll be okay. I have kind of. Let's not do that one. I've kind of 2 different whites. I have this one, and then I have an alcohol ink. These bottles are not alcohol inks. The ones like this are alcohol inks. And the other one's maybe a little bit more opaque, so we might end up adding some of it. But I think this might be okay. Yeah, this actually looks good. So, this actually looks pretty opaque. I added like 3 drops or something. Alright, got that. Got all of these colors. And then this one's just clear with a little bit of glitter in it. Let me get it mixed up and then we'll see if you can see the glitter. I'm trying to get it off the bottom there. And it's just kind of subtle. It's just a little bit of glitter. It's kind of a clear glitter. Just kind of a rainbow. Yeah, you can kind of see it there. It's almost harder to see when it focuses. You can kind of see the little bit of a rainbow glitter in there. Yeah. Alright. I just want that to be kind of subtle. It's kind of nice when like you have a mix of like translucent and opaque. Some things that are shimmery, some things that aren't. I don't know, there's something nice about that. What I was saying before is let's start with these. Just because these ones will be easier to fill while they're still liquidy. The other ones, almost for the designs for the other ones, I almost think it'll be better if the resin's a little bit thicker, because I kind of want to keep the colors from mixing too much. My order here will probably be the little crystals, and then this set, because I do want things to mix a little bit. You know, I want to get that kind of effect where the white is displaced. And then these, because I don't actually want things to get displaced too much when I add another color. Maybe I should grab pipettes for that one actually. Let's see, this one, that's white. And I'm trying to add this purple, which is going to be translucent, to the ones that have a color dusted into the mold. And I was talking about this earlier. Some of you have probably heard this already. And the reason is the translucent purple. I'm trying to make crystals to make geode dice. The translucent purple, if I put it in then clear resin, it just looks like a purple blob. You lose all definition that it's a crystal. But if I put it in one where there is a color already dusted in there, that kind of makes it opaque almost. It gives it more of a shape, and so it will hold its shape better. And I do want some of this purple in there. you know. I think that the opaque mica powder one is going to work out well, but I do want some of this kind of translucent-ish purple in there. I just want to be able to see it too. Alright, so that's the only one there that we're actually going to do. I'm going to grab my little tray here that I put all my stuff in. I put everything on here to put it in the pressure pot, so it fits in the pressure pot like pretty perfectly. Let's see, what else do we want to put this in? I'm going to put this in a couple of small ones maybe. Haunted by dice. Maybe someday it's a hobby you can take up. There's definitely initial costs to dice making. Like, there doesn't have to be, but to make like professional quality dice, there's costs. You can get cheap molds for dice that on Amazon or wherever. That's what I started with. They're not great, and they're not designs that you should probably sell because they don't belong to. But they exist, and you can get a bottle of resin, and then you can use pretty much whatever you want in it. I have paint chips over here that have cinnamon and that sort of stuff. You can use pretty much anything you want in there as a pigment, as long as it's dry. And then that's really all you would need. But I guess I have a bit of equipment at this point, and then polishing papers. I guess that's really all you would need. If you want to do professional dice, there's a whole cost of molds or getting masters made, which is where someone else prints out dice for you basically, and then you make molds out of those. Which is what I do. I have a set of masters, and then I make all my own molds. If you couldn't tell by the wonderful shape that these are in, and masters are not cheap. Silicone's not cheap. And then also I have a pressure pot and an air compressor. That's not cheap. There's a lot of costs that initial costs that add up. And those are initial costs too. I'm still using the same masters that I've been using forever. You prefer forfeiting all mortal possessions because you're picky if you do your own work. Valid. Hopefully, I would hope, to be fair, that you are somewhat picky if I'm doing your work too. Which maybe sounds weird, but I do want to make sure that people are getting what they want. That is something that I do want people to get what they want. But yeah, I should have added more rubbing alcohol to this. So the rubbing alcohol there is because it breaks the surface tension on the resin and gets rid of all the bubbles. But it's going to make it easier to do this, I think. Oh, thanks. It's so nice. I'm glad that you like my work. It makes me so happy. Oh, what was that? Oh. Yeah, I did make, yeah. Every once in a while, there's things that just plague me that's just it's not perfect. Why is it not perfect? Okay. There's one of those. Let's do some black in one of these. Stretch! Oh, that's probably a good idea, actually, yeah. I've been hunched over here. It's probably a good idea for you folks, too, if you haven't moved in a little bit. Or if you're just hunched over your computer or your phone. Oh, just stretch a little bit. Oh. My knee has been hurting me lately. It's very strange.
I feel very old. I feel like I'll just be like sitting at my desk for a while and then I'll stand up and my knee will be like sore and I'm just like, oh man. I've still got a few years until I'm 30. This is too soon. I'm not supposed to have these issues until I'm 30, right? That's the rule. Oh. It's always like upper body, I feel like, that it gets all tense. At least with me. I think it's just because of how I sit. To be fair, I have a lot less like neck and upper back pain now that I am no longer work in an office. That's just fun fact there. Let's add a little bit of this clear to one of these, and I'll add the other purple because we're almost done with all this purple here. Back and chest pains. That's no fun. Yeah, I had like a very stiff like neck and shoulders, but I was also, you know, I had a desk job, you know, where I was sitting for 8 hours a day, and that really did me in. I'm so much more comfortable at home where I don't feel bad just like getting up and going and doing something else for a little bit. I mean, I still do a little bit. That might sound weird, but like I do often, even though I'm, you know, make my own schedule and everything, I do still like kind of have a schedule. And so I feel a little bit bad if I get off schedule. But, or not necessarily off schedule, but just like, I'm like, oh, I should be working on this thing right now. But, and it's something that like, I should just actually chill out. Like, it's, to a certain extent, no, you know, it's good that I'm actually working and stuff and getting stuff done. But it'd probably be healthier for me if I actually went like, just go get a sandwich, Liz. You can stop working on this for a minute. Just go grab a snack. It will be here when you get back. But I tend to get focused on one thing at a time, and I'm just like, I don't have time to go do something else right now. Even though I do. I don't know if anybody else is like that, where you just don't feel like you have the time to go, I don't know, do anything else. Part of it is just that I know that I'll get distracted too. Like, if I'm working on one thing and then I go to do something else, like, I know that I'll have trouble getting back to that original thing because I'll run into something else that needs done. It's like the I guess kind of example that I've seen that's very relatable of like, you go to like clean your room and you're like, okay, but I want a cup of tea before I clean my room. So you go to the kitchen and you realize that there's no clean mugs, and so then you go and start doing the dishes. And then while you're doing the dishes, you like realize, oh, the counters need wiped down now. So you wipe down the counters. And then, you know, you go and you're like, oh, actually, I'm kind of hungry. So you make yourself a snack too. And then, you know, finally, you know, you're waiting for your thing to cook or something. You know, you sit down for a moment and you start scrolling on your phone, get distracted. You know, eventually it ends up, you know, you've done maybe 3 different little things, but you never actually get around to cleaning your room. You're always like that, sadly. Yeah, get hyper-focused for a little bit and then get, like, yeah. It's, I guess to a certain extent, I've kind of figured out, I think they're kind of coping strategies to a certain extent. Like, so I finally got an ADHD, sort of an ADHD diagnosis at the age of 26, which explains a lot. But, like, it is interesting looking back and going like, oh, that makes sense. But you know, it's one of those things where I always feel like I'm kind of using it as an excuse, which makes me feel bad. But at the same time, I'm just like, I understand now what the problem is, and so I have kind of a better idea of some of the things I can do to hopefully, mitigate some of that. It's like, I realize at this point that I, uh, if I don't have something written, I can't do multiple steps. Like that, that's just, I can't think about multiple steps at a time. Um, and so, the solution to that is just to write them down. If I have them written down, I don't have to try and think of multiple steps at a time. I can just do one step, and then I look at my list, and then I do the next step. And that's part of the reason that I have a calendar. It really relieves a lot of anxiety for me because I get very stressed trying to remember all of the, like, what are the different things that I need to do and in what order. And I know that, it can be difficult to get a calendar started and to stick with it, for sure. Like, that's definitely something I've had trouble with. I guess I'm kind of lucky in that I figured out a way to make a calendar that plays into my interests. Like, and I know that doesn't work for everybody. I feel like that's kind of what you got to do to a certain extent, though, is figure out what do you enjoy and how can you attach that to something that you need to do. So for me, I have a bullet journal, and I love like drawing and stuff, and so I draw a different calendar every week. I have like a different design. I go back to some of the same ones just because they're easier and stuff. But I literally sit down and design a different calendar for every week, and I do that. Every other week or so, I'll go and do another couple of weeks into the future. And that works for me. It's not going to work for everybody. And also, to be fair, I've stuck with it because it makes me very anxious if I don't have it now. Because now I realize, like, if I don't have it written down, I'll be lost, sort of thing. I have a bunch of black left, but we're gonna do some purple. I'll do black here actually. And so I have that sort of thing. I think what I was gonna say is I think it might be a little bit of a coping strategy, and I don't know that it's necessarily healthy, where I'm kind of always working. Like and like I do actually like relax now. I'm going off on a tangent. Speaking of getting distracted by other things, but it is related, I swear. I had a desk job for like 5 or 6 years. It was like 5.5. And I quit it to go back to school full time, and also just because I was burnt out. Like I had been working full time and going to school part time, and I had no free time, and I was so burnt out. But what was I doing with this? I had like a month or two in between when I quit and when I started school up full time. I only had like one semester left. I just couldn't get it to line up. I couldn't get any of the classes to line up with my work schedule and all that fun stuff. But I had like a month or two in between when I quit and when I actually started school again. And I realized fairly quickly that I had forgotten how to relax. Like, it was kind of bad. Like, it was one of those, because I had been, like I said, going to school part-time, working full-time. I had no free time. Like, I vaguely remember sitting down and doing a puzzle and kind of feeling guilty about it. Like, I sat down to go do something fun, and I'm just like, I need to be working. My brain was just like, you need to be working. I'm just like, there's nothing for me to work on right now. I'm literally just waiting for the next semester to start. I'm like, oh no, this is not good. This is not healthy. But I did kind of relearn in that month or two how to relax because I realized I had forgotten how to. Like my brain would not let me, which would explain why I was burnt out as all else. considering I could not turn it off apparently. Let's put that over there. That's all done. But let's just do these. That's going to be easier. I think I'm probably not going to have enough for that one. We'll do some more later. But so now I'm still that way a little bit, where I have difficulty actually like giving myself time to just relax. And I have at this point set up weekends for myself. So you know I technically don't work Thursdays or Sundays, and I took those days off because like so okay. I quite literally took Thursdays off because Critical Role plays in the evening, and I just wanted to have that day off. But yeah, so but coincidentally, it's the days after I stream too, because I stream on Wednesdays and Saturdays. But I do still end up working those days. Like I do still end up working on Thursdays and Sundays. You know, people still message me asking about commissions, or you know, I still will sit there while I'm watching Critical Role, which is a D&D show for anybody that doesn't know. It's with a bunch of professional voice actors. It's gotten fairly popular at this point, so people might know. But you know, I still sit there while I'm watching that, and I'll sand dice or ink dice. Like it doesn't really. I'm still working, but I do think at this point that I have kind of allowed myself, on those days at least, to be like, okay, you're off today. You don't need to be working. You're allowed to go play Minecraft or I should do a puzzle. It's been a while since I've done a puzzle, and I like puzzles. But you know, I have, by giving myself those days, I can now kind of say, these are your days off. You can do a puzzle. It's okay. It's okay if you're not working today. But you know, the rest of the days of the week, if I'm not working on something, you know, I get a little bit like my brain's just like, why aren't you working right now? And to be fair, that's still kind of an issue. I think this is kind of one of the issues with working from home or working for yourself, or like not having traditional hours. Like, you know, I don't work 9 to 5. Like some people might. Let's do this. I tend to say that I work from 11 to 11. That's not always accurate. It varies and stuff, but I haven't really set up a time that I get off work. And part of that is just because I divide things up a little bit. So there's some cat hair there. I divide things up a little bit. So I'll usually do like stuff in my office in the mornings, and then I'll come down here and work on stuff in here in the evenings. I don't take as big of a break in the middle of the day as I used to, but let's fill this one in with the purple. Where was I going with this though? Oh, coping mechanism. I think that, to be fair, you know, I'm saying that it's probably not a healthy mindset to have. But I think that part of my I need to be working right now thing at this point is sort of it's kind of a like kind of a coping mechanism for me to try and keep myself on track. Because like if I'm not thinking about work, I won't be working. Because yeah, you know, I'm trying to continuously think about what I need to be working on. And on the days where I'm working, usually it's something work related. So even at the times when maybe I should be relaxing or something, you know, I am still just let's add some black to this one. My brain is still just like, what is the things that you need to be working on at the moment? And I really should get better at like adding things that aren't work to the list in my head. Like, what are the things you should be working on at the moment? Making a sandwich. Like, remembering to eat. Yeah. So I'm going to fill these in with a little bit of black. It's small enough that it's kind of not going in there. All right. Let's work on. We'll add some more of that in a bit, but let's get some of these other ones made. So we're going to start adding some of the colors here. We'll start with the black. But yes, welcome to the Wednesday night look into Liz's head that is me streaming, which seems to be a fairly common occurrence. If you ever wonder how my brain works, it's all over the place, but it's there, I think. Sometimes it goes traveling, but you know, for the most part, my brain's there. All right, we're just adding a little bit of the black for now. We'll see how much we have when I get back. There's a cat hair there. There's always cat hair. Get out of there. Aren't any of our brains really there? Not at the moment. I'm kind of tired today. I wasn't last night, but the night before, I got woken up at 5 a.m. because there was like a crash that I heard in the house. I was like, what was that? It was kind of funny waking up because both me and the kitten were just kind of sitting up in my bed, like kind of looking around. We're just kind of like right next to each other, just kind of sitting there like, what's going on? And it was just very funny. The kitten and I had the exact same expression. But like I got woken up at like 5 in the morning to like, and so then my brother and I were walking around the house at like 5 a.m. trying to figure out like what had crashed. We were doing our best Sherlock Holmes impression of, because we couldn't find anything that was broken or anything. But what I finally figured out, what I think happened was I had a like a shopping bag on the floor. Not like the like super flimsy plastic ones. It was like from like a bookstore type thing. I will read that in just a moment. On the floor because one of the cats was like sleeping in it. And I think maybe he tried to crawl back into it or something, and he got his head stuck in the handle. And I think he might have run around the house trying to get it off, because I found the bag with the handle torn, and some of the furniture at kind of an angle in one of the rooms. It's just like, ah. But luckily he seems to be okay. It looks like he cut his toe maybe. But otherwise, he seems fine, so it's just a silly boy. All right, let me read what she said. So you're trying to make a mermaid-themed character in Stardew Valley, and you were trying to figure out a name for her. Ended up reading way too much mythology, and I'm now looking up jellyfish in different languages. So I guess her name will be Jellyfish in some language. That'll be cool. That sounds like fun. I don't know jellyfish in any other languages. I do want to try maybe making some little jellyfish and making some dice with jellyfish in them. I think that'd be cool. I think there might be enough black. I think I just want enough black to kind of cover it. We'll put the rest of the black in there. Well, see, that sounds cool because you could call her Courage. It sounds like, it looks like the word courage. Cory? I don't know enough about the phonetics of the language to try and accurately pronounce either of those. But both of those are very pretty sounding. I do think that the idea of naming her Courage, though, is kind of a fun idea. Most of some form of Medusa, if they're related to the romance languages. That makes sense. Oh, and we call, well, we're not a Romance language technically. English isn't a Romance language; it's a Germanic language. But that does make sense, I suppose. Okay, we're gonna add a little bit of this green. A little bit of this green now. I find languages so interesting. Like, those are, like, I don't know a lot about languages necessarily, but like, language and culture are things that I always find interesting. Like, I'm always like excited to learn about different things that are different, I guess. English is just German, they got invaded by French. To be fair, I've heard English described as a language that mugged a whole bunch of other languages, and what was it? English, I don't remember what it was. It was something about how they like decided to mug a certain language in a back alley and steal their grammar, ruffle them in their pockets for loose grammar, something like that. English is a bit of a mishmash, but yeah, German they got invaded by French. I mean, that makes sense. We do use some French words and stuff. I was talking about this the other week, because one of the folks that stopped by was French, and I know a little bit of French, just a small amount, but I know enough that I know like what the accents do, like sound wise. And so I was talking to a couple of friends, like afterwards, like a couple days later, and I was like, "How do you spell the word facade?" And because I was trying to think about it, and I was trying to think of whether I would spell facade with the accent on the C or not. Okay, so it's true. Going down the line, French influence that changed English the most and started introducing the Romantic language influence. I mean, yeah, it's interesting. I always kind of thought it was a little interesting that English was a Germanic language. Like, I do obviously see the similarities. There's also quite a few similarities between English and Romantic languages, so that does make sense to me. Let's try and fill this up with a little bit more green. Old English was very German, and even Middle English still a strong German influence, but with Gaelic influence. Oh, okay. I guess that kind of makes sense. Then French came along and fucked it all up. Yeah, it's a mishmash. It's a mishmash. It's English is a weird language. Like at this point I know English because I'm a native speaker of it, but if you take a step back and try to think of like pronunciations and stuff, or to be fair, some of it I see. Some of what really highlights to me how weird English is so my brother is dyslexic, and so he spells things phonetically a lot of the time, and it's really kind of interesting how he spells things because I'm just like, this makes sense and it is wrong. Like the correct word is spelled completely bizarrely. Like the way that you just spelled it makes perfect sense, isn't how it's spelled. Take a look at Scots. Uh, is it even more weird? Like, does it have any? I guess it's internal consistency is really what it comes down to. Like, I'm like, is there an internal consistency here with the way that things are pronounced and all that sort of stuff? Because English, not always. Like, we do have some phonetic rules. We don't always follow them. And I'm sure lots of other languages are like that too, where yeah, we have rules, but we like grammatical rules and everything. That doesn't mean we follow them. Like, there's a cat hair in this one. I'm trying to add more cat hair apparently. It's always cat hair. It never ends. All right. Oh, this might be kind of weird with the green. I guess we'll see. Try to add some more white. Things are spelled more like how they're said. Oh, okay. There are different words. Yeah. That is unfortunate. It always makes me kind of sad, like languages that are kind of being lost almost, or just aren't as used. Because, I don't know. I feel like I'm one of those people that likes the fact that, like, different places have, like, different cultures and stuff. I think it's really cool. There's one something. It's being revived. Oh, cool. That's very cool. That is exciting. Maybe I should have done this a little bit later. Maybe I should have waited a little bit before adding the white. I might add a little bit more white in a little bit. It's kind of sinking a little bit. Along with Scott Scale. Oh, you plan on moving there? That'd be cool. That sounds like a cool plan. Seems like a good plan and a cool plan. It's like how I'd be interested to learn like Hebrew or something. Just like, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know if I'll ever actually do it. But now it's like, I've gotten to a point where like, I'm curious in like my heritage, I suppose. It's just like, I kind of want to go learn more about like the Jewish side of my family and stuff. It's like, I want to learn more about the culture because, you know, my grandparents are Jewish, but they're like non-practicing. It gets very confusing because I'm Jewish, but I'm not Jewish. You didn't have to homeschool your kids? That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, see, that seems pretty cool. I feel like it makes sense if you're going to live somewhere to learn the language there. Even if it, you know, people that do also speak English, but you know, it makes sense. I feel like that's polite to a certain extent to try and, you know, speak the language of wherever you're living. It takes time, of course, and it's, you know, not easy to learn a new language, but you know, it's a good thing to figure out. But yeah, I don't know. It's just, I find cultural stuff really interesting. Oh, this yellow seems to be good. I don't know about, did I do the wrong red? That's the fuchsia. Dutch and German, and your mom is Polish and Italian. Oh, okay, cool. Oh gosh, that's so many languages. You're gonna learn all of the different languages. It sounds like it's gonna be so many different languages to learn. Learn some Japanese. Yeah, I know English and then a minimal amount of French. That's pretty much it. I know high school French. It seems like cloudier than it has in the past. What's this? Seems like this is the wrong red or something. Fuchsia's the one that's usually nice and clear. I don't know why this red's acting weird. Weird. This red just seems to be acting weird. I don't know why. Now one more drop of the blue. You're not gonna do French? Pourquoi? That's fair. If you don't plan on living there or anything, that's fine. Yeah. I enjoyed French though. I don't know. C'est bon. I don't know much of it though. Like I said, I know a high school amount of French, which is not a lot. Don't ask me to conjugate anything. Like, it won't end up, well, hi Maggie, how are you doing? Why is this, like, not mixing right? It's so weird to me. This red is just like not mixing right. It's so weird, so weird. If you master Italian, maybe you'll learn basic French. Yeah, enough to travel makes sense. French is one of those languages that is spoken quite commonly. You know, English, Spanish, French, those are all useful if you're planning on traveling. French is, I think, a trade language, if I remember correctly. Oh, good. Glad to hear it. I'm glad you're doing well, Maggie. I'm talking about languages a little bit. I don't remember how we got on this conversation, but I don't know. I think if I was going to go learn a language at this point, I'd want to go learn more French, just because I kind of already have a little bit of it, or go learn Hebrew. I feel like one of those two. Yeah. Just things that, yeah. I feel like either one of those would be good. Okay, let's start adding our colors to this, I think. So these, I'm kind of basing this on some dice that I did in the past. I don't know why my red's acting. My red's just acting kind of funky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to kind of add, I don't want to do this. So I'm going to add kind of a layer of red. Oh, I want pipettes for this. That's what I want. That's why I'm confused. I'm like, how am I doing this? I need pipettes. Okay. Just a second here. Why is this not working for me? Tried to look up jellyfish in Hebrew, and it won't tell you how to pronounce it. Oh yeah, see, I have no idea how to pronounce that. I don't know the alphabet. I don't know the alphabet at all. Okay, so I did a layer of red in here. We're going to do yellow and blue on top of that. The way I'm going to do that is I want these to be kind of side by side, so we're going to squeeze those in at the same time. There we go. That's kind of how I'm going to do all of these. I'm going to kind of try squeezing two of the colors in at the same time and then put one on top, or vice versa. Because I want all of the colors to kind of have their own little distinct little sections in their own corners, and then they'll kind of mix in the middle. So let's see if I can kind of show you here. Let me put these two colors in. Yeah, so here, let me show you. So I have kind of like the red and the yellow in there, and then we'll put the blue kind of on top, and so they'll all kind of have their own little distinct sections. Yeah, this is definitely getting a little bit thicker, which is what I want. I wanted it to be a little bit thicker, just so that it was thick enough to add all these without them all mixing completely. Add a little bit of blue to the lid there. I think that's going to work out better to do two colors. It's still Medusa. Okay, that's pretty funny. Alright, so yeah, it's going to be easier to do the two colors first and then the one color on top, so I don't have to try and do that to match things. Okay. The S sounds a little more like a Z. Medusa. Okay. Okay, Robot Lady Translator. Alright, let's do yellow and blue. I need a little bit more yellow in here. Let me grab a little bit more yellow. Get a little bit more yellow off on the side here, and then we're going to do the red on top. Yeah, I'm just going to continue to do this with all of these. Do two colors and then one color on top And I think I'll switch up which color I do, just so they're all kind of different. So we're going to do red and blue next, because we haven't done those two together, I don't think. Oops. Now I can impress people with Hebrew jellyfish. Yes. For my first parlor trick, oh, thanks for hosting. That's very nice. I've seen this before. I should figure out how to set up stuff like that with like the hosting and stuff, and then actually do it. I just haven't figured out like who I would like raid and stuff. I should figure out like hosting and raids. Actually, I have some folks that I could set up like host. Hosting is, yeah, I think hosting is where like it plays on your channel, right? If I remember correctly. There are a couple different streamers that I could do that for. Yeah, I've seen the stuff for it. I just like never knew who I should like who I should put in there, but I have a couple people that I could put in there, including Scryer, for example. Okay, yeah. I don't know. It seems like the polite thing to do on Twitch. Let's do blue and yellow again. Alright. Oh, I can do just /host and then, oh, okay, cool. Well, I think I can set it up to like auto host too. I think I can set it up where it like, I think that's a thing I can set up where if like I'm offline and someone else is streaming, it will just play theirs. Pretty sure that's a thing I can set up. Pretty sure I've seen that before. Which I might just do a few folks that I'll pop in on their streams and hang out. It would make sense to set it up so that other folks can go pop into their streams and hang out. Alright, let me... I've said it before though, I just don't watch a lot of streams, which is part of the reason that I like haven't set it up, because it's like I don't know who we should go harass is not the right word. We should go you know, I don't have a lot of people that I watch necessarily, so I feel like there's not a ton of people that I would normally, you know, I feel like I know people will raid people that they've never met before, but that just seems like an awkward social situation to me. It's like I'm not like super socially awkward or anything, or like super socially anxious. It just I feel like it is the polite thing to, like, it's perfectly polite to go raid someone you don't know, but yeah, to host a friend or people you're actively watching, or even just small streamers. Yeah, see, that makes sense to me. I would probably do people that are either friends or folks that I watch. I was just saying though, rating someone that I don't know or watch, and I like, you know, I've been in streams where people have done that. You always just want to follow. Yeah, exactly. Part of it is just because, like, I don't know what the person at the other end is like if I don't follow them. Like, it's like a chance. It's like a gamble. Speaking of raids, welcome. That's so funny. We were just talking about raids and how I don't know how to do them. Perfect timing. Okay, now wait a minute. I get a feeling that this was timed, considering I was just talking about raiding. I don't have a shout out command, Maggie. That's one that I should set up. Okay, guys. Okay, what are you all doing? What are you all doing? Is this just to show me up in my lack of raiding knowledge? Is that what this is? Is that what it is? You're all a group. Well, welcome. Glad you guys could make it. We're making some resin dice. Glad you could all come hang out. I don't know if you realize or not, but I was literally just talking about how I don't know how to do raids. So you have excellent timing here. Oh, D&D mini painting. That's fun. I should do some more of that. It's been a long time since I've painted any D&D minis, and it's so much fun. So do you all like paint minis together, and then like stream separately? Is that how that works? Or let me get some blue here. I'm doing some rainbow dice at the moment. I just have my red and my yellow and my blue, and I'm kind of putting them into their own little corners of the molds. Oh, your roommates. Ah. And it does make it easy. It just chose to raid at random. You guys have perfect timing. I was literally just saying that I don't know if I'd feel comfortable raiding someone that I don't know. I'm like, I feel like it's perfectly polite on Twitch to do that, but I'm just like, you never know what you're gonna get. It's always a gamble. So it is rather funny that you raided me. We stream together as a big gaming group on Odin's iGaming. Oh, cool. Yeah, find someone who seems chill. I don't know if I would be described as chill, but we'll go with it. We'll go with it. Well, that does make sense. It's great for building up connections in the community. That is very true. I have met some like great people, or either through being raided or being part of a raid. Extremely cool. But chill, perhaps, is not the right word. No. I'm just gonna do the D20 here. Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm just socially awkward enough to just be like, I don't know these people. That's a good point. That is a good point. Yeah, that's something that I should start doing. I should start figuring that out. I was just talking about hosting too. Like, I do have a couple of folks. Oh, thanks for following. Sorry, I always read like the little screen instead of like the feed. But Pariadox, thanks for following. It's so much harder to read the little tiny screen. I don't know why I do it. Oh yeah, get recommendations rather than shooting in the dark. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. That is a good idea. See, everyone's full of good ideas in the chat tonight. Not to say that you guys aren't usually full of good ideas in the chat, but you know, there's just more ideas in the chat tonight, I guess. Hopefully I'm adding this in the correct spot. It's a little bit hard to see. D20s are like the hardest to make, I think, because they have such a small opening for the size that they are, so it's just hard to see in there. That's a good point. I do, to be fair, I stream because I like chatting with people. Like, you know, there's nights for sure where no one shows up, or people are just busy with other things and very quiet and just listening, but I really enjoy streaming because I enjoy the social aspect of it. I love just sitting here while I'm working on arts and crafts or whatever and just chatting with people. So yeah, little Ashley's just here yelling jellyfish in different languages. Oh, thanks for following, Texas Timbers. Yeah, I appreciate that. I think I have a couple of ideas for what I'm going to set up now. Gosh, everyone was just following Lieutenant Westfield. Ah, well, thank you for following Lieutenant Westfield. gotta go get cleaned up. Okay, yeah, have a good rest of your night, or whatever time it is for you. How do I make resin dice? Is it pretty easy to get into the hobby? Well, I was kind of talking about this a little bit earlier. It's not hard to start, but if you want to do it professionally, it takes a bit of equipment. Like, if you just want to make some dice for yourself, you can get cheap molds on Amazon, and a bottle of resin, and then put random things in the resin and put them in the molds. And then really from there, you just need to like sand them and stuff. But if you want to do it like professionally, I have a bit of equipment that I use. Like I've ordered, there's a lot of different skills I guess that go into it. Like I ordered masters, which are like 3D printed dice, which I then polish, sand and polish. And then I make molds out of them. So, you know, there's mold making involved. You don't have to do mold making. You can buy molds too, but it's just easier in the long run for me if I make my own molds. So there's, you know, there's it can be a spendy sort of hobby depending on how far into it you get. There's the yellow. But yeah, I think if you wanted to start getting into resin stuff, I don't think dice would be the place to start necessarily, unless it's the only thing about resin that interests you, because they are so the dice that I make at a minimum, they take about 3 hours to make from start to finish. That's including the pouring and the sanding and the cleaning them up and the inking and all that. Like they do take time. That's what it comes down to at the end of it, is they take time, and if you want to do it like professionally or anything, you know, they take some money too. Woo! There's some upfront costs. But it is really fun. It is really fun. To be fair, I got into it because a D&D buddy was talking about starting to make dice. I was just like, oh, I have a little bit of resin at home. I could probably do that. And then it kind of snowballed. But I don't know, there's lots of little steps. Have I ever done other materials? Like besides resin, you mean? Or like other materials inside of the dice? Because I've put other things into my resin dice before, but I've only ever made dice out of resin. I had done resin a little bit before making dice, so it was kind of a easy transition for me. But here. I think I have enough resin in all these. I'm just going to get this resin out of the pipette. I'm just going to squeeze that out of there, and then I can. It's also messy. Or at least when I do it, it's messy. But that's just all of the arts and crafts that I do. No, I haven't. That would be kind of a different process. Like with resin, I'm going from like nothing to something, whereas with like the stone or metal, well, I guess metal would be similar too. I guess I could cast stone, metal dice. With stone though, at least I think that'd be going from like a larger piece and then trying to cut it down. I don't know. I've never done it. No, I haven't done it out of any other materials. Although now that you're saying it, I could do metal dice. That's something that I could figure out. But I think part of what I enjoy about making dice is the fact that with like the resin, I can make them look, I can do a lot of different things. Like at this point, you know, I kind of know all of the different materials and stuff and what I'm using. But I can still do something different every time, which is just, that's the fun part for me, is being able to do something different every time. Oh, I forgot to do that. Oh, that's okay. I have my little tray here. These are going to be going into a pressure pot. So I'm going to put these under a whole bunch of pressure, and that will make all the bubbles really, really small. Push them down so you can't even see them. I am still trying to get some of the bubbles on the very top here popped. Just to get them out of the way. I don't want too many bubbles. Your dad's made 3D printed dice before. D20 is your match because the numbers are easily botched. Yeah, I did recently get a Resin 3D printer, and I wanted to try doing that, but I think I'm going to try with some other stuff first because I feel like it's dice are kind of like you have to be kind of precise with dice so that they roll well and they're weighted and weighted evenly and all that sort of stuff. That is cool though. I feel like it's going to give me a lot of trouble when I try to do that. All right, I'm adding a little bit more white. I can show you what I'm doing here. Just a second here. So I'm trying to recreate. I had a whole bunch of extra resin that I just kind of threw in a mold the other night. And I ended up with kind of this weird sort of cloud. We'll see if it'll focus. It never likes to focus on what I want it to focus on. Come on, you can do it. Find it. Ugh. There we go. It kind of this weird cloud thing where it kind of like made all the white go up. And I'm trying to kind of recreate that. I'm doing it with green, because I just got a new green color. Actually, I got a couple new green colors, because I didn't have a good green color. I'm trying it out, but I want to try and get a similar effect. So we're going to add some more white here. I added a little bit of white before, but I think it was a little bit too early. A little bit too early. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, that's part of the reason I'm trying to copy it is because I'm just like, oh, that actually, it was just all sorts of like extra resin that I had that I threw in there. I was just like, oh, I should actually try and make a set like that because that looks pretty cool. Let's put some more white in here. I think I added my resin a little bit too early though. I think it'd be better if I'd done it when it was a little bit thicker. Doing it at like different times can kind of produce different effects. Let's add a little bit more white here, I think. So it's getting rather thick now, which is part of the reason I'm adding the rest of the white, but well, thanks. Yeah, if you want to see any of the other stuff I've done, I do have, I think, I have an Instagram. My Instagram is in my About section. I have some photos there and stuff. Let's spray that down. It's getting to the end of its work time here. It's getting rather thick. So I'm going to add this clear. It has a little bit of a sparkle to it. And I want it to kind of displace things a little bit, which is why I'm pouring from up high. Because I want to try and kind of get that sort of cloud effect again. I want it to kind of push the stuff out of the way. But there's kind of a balance. So as the longer I get into working with the resin, the thicker it gets. And that's because it's starting to set up a little bit. You have a limited amount of time once you mix the two parts together. Like you have a time frame in which you're working. And some things, I want the resin to be runny for. And some things I want the resin to be thick for. And one of the things is if it's thick, it doesn't like mix as much. You end up with more layers rather than swirls and that sort of stuff. And I'm kind of trying to get it somewhere in the middle. I don't want it to mix completely, but I want some of that stuff to get displaced and moved around. That's part of the reason that I might have done this a little bit too late. There's just a balance, because if I did it too early, I'd end up with all of my white and my green and everything in there mixing. If I do it too late, I'm not going to end up with the white kind of billowing up like it did in that one die. So I am adding, it's probably a little bit too much, but I am adding a little bit of extra resin. I want it to dome a little bit, and that's because these are going to be going into a pressure pot, as I mentioned just a moment ago. And that's going to take all the air bubbles and push them down really, really small so you can't see them. But that does also mean that I need some resin to fill in the space where the air bubbles were. So we want a little bit of extra resin kind of around the, around the sides here and stuff to fill in that space. Shouldn't be too much, but I want enough that I'm not going to end up with any big air bubbles, big gaps. Once these come out of the brush pot, once they're all cured. Why? What's the? Are you looking up jellyfish still? Is this what? Are you still looking up jellyfish? I'm also adding a little bit. I'm waiting to hear your response, but I'm also adding a little bit of resin to the lids because I don't want to get any big air bubbles trapped between the lids and the base part too. So these are lids that are going to get turned over and put on top, and that's how the number gets added to that side. What's up? Are you okay, little Ashy? They like to get caught in like all the zeros and the 8 and the 6. So it's easiest if I just get the bubbles out now. I do a similar kind of thing when I'm adding items to the dice. Uh-oh! Uh-oh! Well, whoops. Whoopsies. That's not what you want. Alright, it looks like some of the colors maybe got displaced and stuff. That's good. So I don't want so much resin that like the lid doesn't sit on properly, so I'm scraping a little bit of it off, but I do want it to be okay. I do think that things are getting displaced, so that's a good sign. Time for some eye bleach. You need to go look up some pictures of cats and dogs. All right, this is a little bit of rubbing alcohol. I'm just spraying it on top because it will break the surface tension a little bit, help the bubbles pop. You're just gonna focus on pretty dice. Sounds like a good plan. Sounds like a good plan. I am almost done. You know what? I'm letting these sit a little bit. I've been letting these sit with the lids off, just so that there was time for all of the bubbles and stuff to pop. Get these two pop. But I think we can probably get the lids on these now. Looking at moon jellies. Alright. Yeah, see, I have a little bit on the lid. I have a little bit extra. And that way, hopefully, there'll be enough extra resin to fill in. And no big air bubbles. I was actually about to say that. I can't remember if I got around to it or not. But it's on my to-do list to make jellyfish dice. It's quite literally on my to-do list. I spent yesterday and the day before, I don't need to spray that again. I spent yesterday and the day before starting to make some polymer clay items to put into dice. Start to do some more like diorama type ones. And one of the things on my list that I was like, maybe I could do that was jellyfish. So it is one of those things that I do want to try at some point, and probably some point fairly soon. Try and do jellyfish dice. Well, I would assume it's a type of jellyfish. I know that little Ashy was looking up different words for jellyfish earlier, but I don't know necessarily. Maybe I'm making a wrong assumption here. Alright, let's put these lids on. It's a pretty jellyfish. It's just a cute little thing. Is it super deadly? Stretch! That's probably a good idea. Give me just a second here. Probably good for anybody else who's just been sitting for a long time to just stretch for a minute. If you're hunched over, or if you've been in the same position for a while, just get up, do some jumping jacks. Maybe not jumping jacks, but it is a very pretty name. It does give like the impression of like a really pretty jellyfish, or like a. They're pretty harmless. Okay, they can sting, but they're pretty harmless. Okay, that's good. Okay, there's some jellyfish where it's just like, ooh, super pretty. It's going to kill me, which would just be unfortunate. At least I'd go out looking at pretty things. Okay, this is at the end of its work time, so let me speed this up a little bit. It's getting very, very thick. Oh, they're kept. Oh, okay. I think I've seen like pictures and videos and stuff of those before. The little tiny ones. You have to keep them. They have like an 18-month lifespan. Okay, so not very long, but okay, yeah, okay, that's a little bit more than a year. I could not keep fish alive. I can keep my cats alive because they let me know if they're unhappy about something. It's harder to keep fish alive. I feel like they don't yell at me if I forget to feed them or something. I think I could probably keep fish alive now, maybe, but when I was younger, no. All right, let's start getting the lids on these too. I should have added more rubbing alcohol to this before we started. Alright, there we go. Oh, one of those contained ecosystems. Those are cool. They just need one with jellyfish. That would be cool. They'd probably look really cool. Alright. There's still some bubbles there. Okay, I'm gonna let these sit for a moment. I'm gonna put those lids on in just a moment. I'm gonna finish filling in these little crystals here that I want to use for some like other dice things later on. I want to make some geode dice. Just be a jungle of little ecosystems and creatures. Aww. I love plants too. I do not have a green thumb. That's part of the reason my brother's in charge of keeping all the plants alive. He's the one that's better at keeping plants alive. I'm in charge of keeping the cats alive. He's in charge of keeping the plants alive. But alright, we've got enough purple here. We'll just gonna try and finish filling these in. Yeah, it's getting very, very thick. This happens once it's near the end of its working time. You know, starting to set up kind of, and so let's do these. I think I don't know if I have enough for that. Never mind. I'm gonna do a spare D4. When I ship, I do have a shop. When I ship out a set of dice, I tend to include like an extra D4 that's just random. Not necessarily random. I usually try to pick something that I think kind of complements the dice that the people have ordered, or if it's a commission, then I usually send something that's with like the extra resin from their dice. But I use D4 molds as kind of like a place to put extra resin, because then I can send them along as a little bonus when people order sets. It's just I feel like it's a good use of extra. It would just get wasted otherwise. And then the other thing that I've started doing is I've started making just random dice too. A little bit of clear. We'll put this little bit of clear in here. just random dice. To be fair, this one's actually not a spiky floor triangle. This is a little crystal shape. Originally, I only used this little crystal shape for the bonus dice, but I'm slowly starting to move over to using it for all my sets. It's a little bit less of a caltrop, I feel like. Also, it's just kind of fun because it's a little different. But commissions still use the spiky floor traps, but that's just because that's what I have in the listing. I should start offering people which one they want, but alright. So there's that bonus. Let's do a bonus. What die should we do? Let's just do like a D6 maybe. I'm gonna do bonus D6 with the red and the blue. Or maybe just red, we'll find out here. We've got quite a bit of extra resin. Alright, so, and we are winding down for the night a little bit. I'm gonna have to put more air in the air compressor. I can tell, which is rather loud. So I'll probably let you guys go before then. We'll just get all these lids on first, and then we'll call it a night. For those of you who are new here, which some of you are, I think, I do stream every Wednesday night and every Saturday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Any dice harder to make, or are they pretty much? Some are, yeah. Like I do make some dice where like I handcraft items out of polymer clay first and put those in, or I hand paint items. Like those aren't necessarily harder. Some of them are, but they just take a lot more time. But I don't know. There's and actually Petri dice. If you've ever seen the like dice that have like the little tendrils that come from one side and look really cool, I have a lot of trouble with those. And the reason for that is that I just can't get them right every time. Those require you put like ink into one, like the top of the mold here, and it kind of sinks down. But the problem is I either add too little and I don't get any of like the part that sinks down, or I add too much and then it doesn't cure properly and it ends up all squishy on that side, which doesn't work, obviously. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely at the end of my work time. So those ones give me trouble, but you know, that's just me personally. Like those probably aren't super hard for other people. So there's a D6. Pop that bubble there. Couple bubbles I'm just popping out of the way. Alright, let's get these lids on. Just want to make sure I get these lids on before anything else. I do, I have a little bit more resin here that I should fill into a die. Let's do another D6. I'll fill the blue into a D6 as well. I ended up with a lot of extra resin this time. Usually I don't have as much extra resin. Usually I do 3 sets of dice. And I have kind of a system down at this point to do like 3 sets of dice at a time. But this time I only did 2 sets of dice and then some like crystals. And so my measuring skills were a little bit off. But also like, it's not even that they were off necessarily, it's that I have to work in like 20 milliliter increments. So I ended up with extra. Okay, let's add some of this clear here as well. Maybe these will match. I'm going to end up adding some of this black over here, because I think that's all I have left now. Alright, so yes, we will get these lids on first before closing everything, but figured I'd give you guys a heads up, just in case. I always feel like I either start wrapping things up way too soon or way too suddenly. I think this is one of those cases where I've done it way too soon. Oh yeah, that's very, very thick. So it's like another one of those fine balances between, okay guys, bye, right in the middle of working on stuff, or being like, okay, we're gonna wrap up at this point, and then that's a few minutes from now. Alright. I'm just laying those down on the table because they will cure there, and it's just kind of, it'll be easy to pull them up tomorrow. Okay. So let's start getting these lids on. Yeah, if you guys are curious to see how either of these turn out, I've started to like post photos of the dice that we've made on stream in my Discord, which, hey Jen, are you still there? If you're still there, Jen, could you do the Discord command? But I do have a Discord. If you guys are interested in seeing how these turn out, it's pretty chill over there. Yes. Oh, thank you, Maggie. That works too. All right. Yeah, it's pretty chill over there. We talk D&D, arts and crafts, all that sort of fun stuff. But I will post photos there so people can actually see how things turned out. So that's something that I've always felt not bad about, but kind of weird about with streaming. Because this is one of those things where, one of those crafts where, you know, you don't see how they turn out until the next day. Like, I gotta wait 24 hours for this stuff to cure completely. So just so, you know, people get to sit around and watch the stuff being made, but they don't actually get to see how it turned out. So I do think that the Discord has been a good solution to that. Now people can actually see how things turned out, when I find out how they turned out. Oh, you did it with minis too. Cool. People probably have to wait a little bit more for mine, so I've got to wait 24 hours. But it's good to know that this is a tried and true practice. Yeah, these need to go in the crush pot. All right. So I am gonna wrap things up for tonight while I get these last couple of lids on. But I should go look up your minis first of all. But thank you guys for stopping by. As I mentioned before, I do stream every Wednesday and Saturday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Ooh. And I always get cat hair in my dice. Okay. So if you ever want to come hang out, that is when and where you can find me. Same time, same place. And I think we're gonna do some more dice on Saturday as well, because I have a couple of commissions that, or at least one commission that I want to work on Saturday. Sometimes we do other stuff on Saturdays, but this week we are going to do dice. So if you want more dice making, that is when that will be happening. But thank you guys for stopping by, and I will see you guys later, and I'll post some photos tomorrow, or maybe the day after, depending on what time I pull things out. But hopefully we can all chat again soon. So bye!